Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
It's the Diamondbacks in D.C. We open up a three-game visit to Washington in the nation's capital, a series featuring the two teams which are 1 and 2 in hits in the major league, so we could see a whole lot of offense here this week. It's the Diamondbacks and the Nationals on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Nationals Park and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs and Nats first of three, and big Taijuan Walker in that big fastball get the ball for game one of this series, Bob.
They're coming off probably his best start of the year against the San Diego Padres, and I know a lot of fans are saying, yeah, it was the Padres. Let's see what he does against the Nationals. I'll tell you what, if he pitches the same way against this Nationals offense that he did against the Padres, and that's elevated four-seam fastball, splitters in the dirt, he'll do just fine against the Nats tonight.
Taijuan Walker against Washington's Tanner Roark, although, as you mentioned, these are not the Padres. Look at this.
It's just crazy. You look at every offensive category in the National League, whether it's a team stat or an individual stat, and there are Nationals all over the place. These three guys, 1, 2, and 3 in RBIs, 1, 2, and 3 in hits.
Ryan Zimmerman, Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy. The Nationals have been rolling as of late. We'll see if the Diamondbacks can slow their roll a bit. The first of three from D.C. First pitch on the way on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Tire Pros. Everything rotates around you. By Gila River Casinos. Experience winning like you've never imagined at the Gila River Casinos. Lone Butte, Bequiva, and Wild Horse Pass. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Oregano. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run at Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint. Location statewide. And by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. On Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. By Jack in the Box and the Jumbo Jack, a home run for your mouth. By Gigablast Internet from Cox. Welcome to the Gig Life. And by State Farm. State Farm is here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today or call 1-800-STATE-FARM. Washington, D.C. It's the Diamondbacks and the Nationals. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, Todd Walsh along the way. A nice evening here in the nation's capital. 78 degrees, a little breezy on a lovely Tuesday night. Torey Lovullo and his Diamondbacks set to go against this very potent Washington Nationals lineup. Here are the starters for the D-backs, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
A.J. Pollock will lead it off out in center field tonight. Chris Owings playing right field for David Peralta. More on that later. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Jake Lamb at third. Osmani Tomas out in left field. Brandon Drury a little bit under the weather, but in the lineup today at second base. Chris Herman doing the catching. Nick Ahmed at shortstop, and right-hander Taijuan Walker on the mound.
For the Nationals here, Ram Truck starting pitcher is 30-year-old right-hander Tanner Roark. Unbeaten in 5 starts this year, a 3.64 ERA. He has wins over the Marlins, the Cardinals, and the Rockies. His previous start was a win at Coors Field last Wednesday.
Now, that was an 11-4 Nationals victory, part of that stretch where they were putting double-digit runs up every night. You'd love to pitch in front of this offense, no question about it.
Oh, look at the Nationals defensively, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Bryce Harper out in right field, Michael Taylor in center field for the injured Adam Eaton. Jason Worth out in left field. It'll be Anthony Rendon, Trey Turner, Daniel Murphy, and Ryan Zimmerman third to first across the infield, with Jose Lobaton doing the catching for right-hander Tanner Roark.
Yeah, Nationals just lost Adam Eaton for the season with a gruesome knee injury, and they are trying to recalculate things as Roark fires a fastball in there for strike one. We're underway. A.J. Pollock, 324 and 2 home runs. A.J. had base hits in his only 2 at-bats in Sunday's win over the Rockies. He starts this road trip with a 6-game hitting streak. He's got 10 hits in his last 6 games. Inside fastballs from Roark. A.J. ahead 2-1.
Yeah, Roark, a 4-pitch guy. He does throw a curveball and a changeup, but he relies mostly on a 2-seam sinking fastball and a hard slider. Tries to keep everything down in the zone and get ground balls for his infielders.
The guy Torey Lovello says pitches backwards. There's the strike. 2-2, all fastballs so far. There's Torey. Got a daughter that attends a school out here.
Torey was regaling us with stories about hanging out with the Washington elite.
Oh yeah, he's hobnobbing big time. Well, his baseball team is off to a good start, and people here have noticed he's getting a lot of compliments from some of the political elite here.
You know, it's kind of surprising. We travel around the major leagues and go to the different cities, and there are a lot of D-backs fans in D.C. I was really shocked.
Senator McCain, of course, top of the list, who was so gracious in hosting a Diamondback party yesterday. There they are. Some Sedona red splashed among the Nationals red here. Fans still filing in. Good at bat by Pollock to start it off. A full count, 3-2. And a base hit into center field. A.J. Pollock leads it off. A.J. and his 10 stolen bases aboard to start off the ball game. And here's Chris Owings.
Diamondbacks lead the majors in stolen bases this season. They have really run wild on the bases when given an opportunity.
Chris Owings, 311, 4 home runs. He is in right field tonight. As Bob mentioned, David Peralta is under the weather, not feeling well. So Owings is in right field and Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Brandon Drury is also not 100%. A little ill as well, but he's in there at second base tonight. There's a strike from Roark. D-backs thought that the flu bug that had been going around was gone. It had pretty much run through the clubhouse, but it managed to catch Peralta and Drury apparently over the weekend.
You hope it didn't have anything to do with that country thunder that was coming from the back of the plane the other day on the flight here to D.C.
You know, it's funny. I've been here 5 years now, and that is the happiest flight that I can remember. They were playing, as Todd Walsh said in the pregame show, they were in the aisles with the guitars, literally from coast to coast. It never died down, which was great to see. Players in the back of the plane, they were jamming, as the kids say.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, had the off day yesterday, so you know you could make it a fun flight the way the guys did.
Everybody dressed up in their red, white, and blue outfits. A very social flight. Roark trying to upset Pollock's timing with a long set there.
And Roark very quick to home plate when he uses that slide step delivery. Very tough to get a jump against him. You have to guess right when you think he's going to use that high leg kick.
Pollock holds. Ground ball, foul just by third. Roark is not really a strikeout pitcher per se. We've seen a near mid-90s fastball, but he's at his best when he's generating ground ball outs. 15 grounders against the Phillies 3 starts ago. That helped him complete 7 innings, his longest outing of the year so far. And he's especially good at generating ground balls against right-hand hitters. Among the best percentages in baseball right now. Roark very tough on righties. Not a lot of solid contact or line drives from right-hand hitters. He's ahead of Owings 1-2. Overtone setting up down and away behind the plate. Pollock holds, and that one missed. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. That two-seam fastball, which darts in on the right-hand hitters and away from the lefties. He's good at moving that two-seamer around. He'll throw it down and away to righties, try and have it dart back over the outside corner for a strike. Or throw it right at the hip of the left-hand hitter, try to catch the inside corner of the zone. AJ, 10 stolen bases. He's been caught twice. Another long set. CO fouls a fastball straight back, and it's still 2-2.
You know, you look at this Washington roster, and if there is a glaring weakness, it's their bullpen. So the more pitches you can force Tanner Roark to throw in the early going, the better chances that Dusty Baker's going to have to get into that pen at some point mid-game.
Yeah, the consensus from everyone here has been, if you want to beat the Nationals, get into their bullpen. Goldie on deck. They've gone through 3 closers already through the first month of the year. Owings hits it hard again, but fouled just by Anthony Rendon at third. One concern for Tanner Roark coming into tonight, he's walked 7 batters in his last 2 starts. Walked 4 in 5 innings against the Rockies last week. He was away from spring training for a long time with Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, so the consensus here is that has really lessened his command a bit to start the season. Not quite as sharp as he usually is. Pollock takes off for second. And Lobaton drops the ball. 11th stolen base of the year for AJ. The pitch was a ball. The 3-2 count on Owings.
Oh, got a great jump that time. You could clearly see the legs of Tanner Roark out there on the mound had not moved, and AJ was already turned and running towards second base. Roark went ahead and delivered the ball home. No chance that time for Lobaton.
Well, this is a great way to get into that Nationals bullpen. Roark has gone full count on the first 2 batters of the game. The 3-2 to CO. Fights it off, foul.
You know, I get it, playing in Washington, D.C., everybody's very patriotic, but that white mask behind home plate has got to go. I'm surprised one of the Nationals defenders hasn't complained about it. You know, every year it happens once or twice where there'll be a fan sitting in the front row behind home plate with a white shirt on. A ball will be hit and a fielder just won't see it out of the white shirt. Why would you voluntarily wear a white mask right behind the hitting zone?
Well, if it's going to upset their infielders, I'm not saying a word. 9th pitch of the at-bat on the way. Chris Owings, terrific at bats to start off the game here. CO with runners in scoring position, better than a .500 hitter this year.
And even with a 2-strike count, it looks like on the last 2 foul balls, he's been trying to move that ball to the right side of the field. Get A.J. Pollock to third base with 1 out in the inning, or get a base hit to right field and score.
Called strike 3. The fastball's in there. 1 down.
Looking for something else. Got caught guessing that time. That's that comeback sinker you talked about. Starts it just off the outside corner. Has enough tailing action to bring it back into the strike zone for strike 3.
He'll throw it to that same spot against the lefties where they think it's coming right at their hip, and suddenly it darts inside and just catches the strike zone. One down, Pollock at second. Here's Goldie, 315 and 4 homers. April was a little hot and cold for Paul Goldschmidt in terms of production. As we go into tonight, he's got 13 RBIs in his last 10 games, but that follows a stretch during which he had 1 RBI over a dozen games. But he's been hot lately in an RBI spot right here. But we have seen this, Bob, all season long. The way this Diamondbacks running game disrupts the rhythm and timing of the pitcher on the mound. Roark's had to work hard, throw a lot of pitches. He's clearly paying attention to Pollock behind him. Murphy sneaks in from second base, and AJ is just back safely.
We talk about the running game and how it changes everything. Changes the pitchers that a guy will throw to home plate, changes the pitches that the catcher calls, changes where the defense can align themselves. Always have to be aware that AJ may break for third base on any given pitch, and you can see Murphy playing right behind him at second base.
A lot of room in right center field for Goldie. AJ getting a big secondary lead down there. That pitch missed. It's 1-1. Goldie has always hit pretty well in this ballpark. 339 career with 1 home run. He's played 16 games here. That's on a play. It's a ball and 2 strikes. That's the Roark slider.
20 pitches already here in the first inning for Roark. Get a couple more extended at bats, run that count up even higher.
Fastball up, missed. It's 2-2. Roark coming off a very good season last year for the Nationals. He won 16 games, a career high. A 2.83 ERA. That was 6th best among all major league starting pitchers. Really taking a long time when he comes to the belt. And Jose Lobaton will go talk it over. Matt Wieters was one of their big free agent signees in the offseason, the former Orioles catcher. But Wieters is ill, under the weather, whatever that bug is that's going through major league clubhouses. Wieters has got it now, so Lobaton gets the start behind the plate tonight. Another extended at bat by a Diamondback hitter against Tanner Roark, who's up to 22 pitches already, and he's only recorded 1 out. Play on at second. Murphy can't collect it. Pollock will get third here as Roark throws it into right center field.
Did I mention that running game really changes everything? That'll be an error on Roark as Murphy tried to sneak in behind once again. The throw had as much movement as some of his pitches to the plate that time. Tailed away from his second baseman into center field, allowing AJ to advance to third.
A free 90 feet. Still only 1 out. Lobaton sets up, down and away again. Missed upstairs, and it's a full count, 3-2. He's gone 3-2 on the first 3 batters of the ball game. Jake Lamb on deck. Dusty Baker's club off to a 17-8 start. Just beat the Mets here in their last game 23-5. They needed an off day yesterday just to recover from running around the bases.
The official scorekeeper has gone on the disabled list with a sprained wrist from hitting that runs button so often.
Anthony Rendon, 3 home runs and 10 RBIs in that game. Ryan Zimmerman just named National League Player of the Week last week. Goldie stays alive. Well, this is just about as good a start against Roark as you could have asked for.
I was just thinking the same thing. If you would have asked Torey Lovullo before the ball game, what would you like to see in the first inning against the Nationals and Tanner Roark? Long at bats, lots of foul balls, deep counts. Run that pitch count up there.
Base hit for Goldie. AJ comes in, and 3 batters in. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. RBI number 20 for Paul Goldschmidt.
Great grinding at bat once again by Goldie. Has to go out and get a pitcher's pitch that time. Looked like a sinker out there on the outside corner of the plate. Goldie lines it right back where it came from for the first run of the game.
AJ.
Good start. Jake Lamb now. Jake 284. He's got 5 home runs. That ties him with the Osmani Tomas for the team lead. Jake leads the D-backs with those 21 RBIs. He's been swinging a lot of first pitches in his at-bats lately. Very aggressive early in counts. Takes that one for a ball. Curveball missed. It's 1-0. Long look down to Tony Perez's cheek at third base. Changeup. Is this what Torey Lovullo meant by pitching backwards? He starts off the cleanup man, curveball, changeup.
Well, backwards usually means in what we consider obvious fastball counts, you throw something else, a changeup or a breaking ball, and in obvious breaking ball counts, 1-2, 0-2, you throw the fastball inside, try to catch the hitter looking off speed.
A lot of room down the left side of the infield for Lamb. Fastball inside missed. He's ahead 2-1.
There have been a lot of pitchers in Major League history that have had great success pitching backwards. 2-0 count, throw a straight changeup. 1-2 count, throw a fastball on the inside part of the plate. A lot of guys have had great success doing that. I think back to Scott Sanderson, who pitched for a number of teams throughout the course of his big league career, but he was a guy for me that consistently pitched backwards.
Roark cannot locate here against Lamb. He's at 30 pitches in the inning. Here's Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. 30 pitches. He's only got 1 out. Behind on Lamb, 3-1. A run is already in. Lamb aggressive early in counts. He started him off curveball changeup. That was interesting. Goldie holds it first. Fastball's a strike. The count is full 3-2. 4 Diamondback hitters, 4 3-2 counts so far. Tomas on deck. Nationals shade over toward the right hand side. Left side of the field is wide open for Lamb. Here's the 3-2. Fouled away. You can see Anthony Rendon. That's the third baseman standing in the shortstop spot. And 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. Trey Turner, the shortstop, near the bag at second. Murphy, the second baseman, slides over. Back near the outfield grass. Coming inside on 3-2. Goldie takes off for second, pitches a strike, and there's the strike him out, throw him out. And Rendon, or Roark, pardon me, is out of the inning. But the Diamondbacks get one. Taijuan Walker coming up. For the D-backs, the big right-hander Taijuan Walker. 3-1 in his 5 starts, a 3.94 ERA. Tonight, Taijuan's first ever start against the Washington Nationals.
You know, looking back through some of Taijuan's recent starts, he gets 2 quick outs in an inning, gives up a double and a single and a run scores. He's done that 3 separate times. Got 2 quick outs, gave up a double followed by a single before getting the 3rd out of the inning. Hopefully he'll be able to avoid that here tonight.
The Washington starting lineup brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Good guy to keep off the bases. Trey Turner leading it off at shortstop. Jason Worth out in left field. Bryce Harper in right field. Ryan Zimmerman at first base. Daniel Murphy at second base. Anthony Rendon still recovering from a 6-hit game. He'll be at third base. Michael Taylor filling in for Adam Eaton out in center field. Jose Lobaton doing the catching for right-hander Tanner Roark.
Trey Turner, who has quickly become one of the most exciting players in the game, leads it off. 317 and 2 homers. Turner is just about Billy Hamilton fast. So you want to keep him off the bases. He has been slowed a bit this year. However, he's already missed time with a right hamstring strain. He's on the 10-day disabled list after injuring the hamstring April 8th. He came back on the 21st, and since he's returned, he's hit nearly 390. Taijuan ahead, 1-2. Ooh, 95 miss, says Brian Onora behind the plate. It's a full count, 3-2. That's headed out there for Chris Owings in right field. And Turner's in at second.
We don't have the greatest perspective in the world up here on top of the stadium, but that didn't sound like that ball was hit good enough to hit the fence in right field.
Yeah.
Cued it off the end of the bat. Chris Owings plays a nice carom off the wall right there, but with Turner's speed, that's going to be an easy double, his 8th of the season.
Well, as we mentioned, Adam Eaton has been lost for the season with a gruesome knee injury. And so Dusty Baker's had to move some pieces around the lineup. Jason Worth has become the 2-hole hitter. 282 and 3 home runs. Dusty really liked the way that top of that lineup was working. He's had to move some pieces around. He's decided to split up the lefties, as we saw when Bob introduced the lineup. So he's got Ryan Zimmerman batting cleanup between the 2 lefties, Harper and Murphy. And Worth has moved up into the 2-hole. Taijuan behind 2 balls and no strikes. Command has not been sharp yet for Taijuan. 8 pitches, 5 for balls. This is a very good fastball hitting team. So command and location going to be important tonight. Here's a strike. There's the splitter. He's behind 3-1. Diamondbacks well aware that the Nationals are baseball's hottest hitting team right now, but Torrey felt like D-backs pitching really matches up pretty well with Washington, including Taijuan Walker. That'll have to mix up locations tonight. Fastball missed. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Yasmani Tomas in left field. A.J. Pollock out in center. Chris Owings in right field tonight. Jake Lamb and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Brandon Drury, Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Chris Herman getting the nod behind the plate tonight for right-hander Taijuan Walker.
Chris Herman and Taijuan Walker worked very well together last Thursday against the Padres when Taijuan went 8 innings, gave up just 2 runs, and had those 11 strikeouts without a walk. But handed a 1-0 lead, he's in immediate trouble. Turner at second, Worth at first, and here is Bryce Harper.
It's one thing we didn't mention when talking about the Nationals offense. These guys walk almost as much as they strike out. Some very, very patient hitters. When they get the count in their favor, they're very aggressive.
Bryce Harper, what a start it's been. Hitting .391, 9 homers, 26 RBIs. I mean, he looks like the guy who was the National League MVP. He homered in the win over the Mets here Sunday. His on-base percentage, by the way, is the best in baseball. It's at .509. So he's getting on base more than half the time he's up there.
Wishful thinking. Maybe he's tired from being on base all that time. Maybe he ought to take a series off.
Harper second in the majors in RBIs, behind only his teammate Ryan Zimmerman, who's on deck. Just behind Harper for third on that RBI list is Murphy, who's batting 5th tonight. Brian O'Nora not giving Taijuan Walker very much at all. 2-1 on Bryce Harper. Good reason was pointing out after that big win over the Mets that, look, this lineup is absolutely dumb. He says it's just insane how good it can be, and it's been that good. Off to a 17-8 start. They had 3 consecutive games last week at Coors Field when they beat the Rockies and scored at least 11 runs in 3 straight games. And then put up 23 here against the Mets on Sunday. That is at third, under the glove of Lamb. This will get Turner home to tie the ball game.
That can't happen against a heavily loaded offensive ball club like the Nationals. You've got to make the plays defensively. That should be an E on Jake Lamb right there. Just misplayed that ball, didn't get the glove to the spot.
Well, here comes last week's National League Player of the Week, Ryan Zimmerman, having a remarkably resurgent season. A run is in, Worth at second, Harper at first. Zimmerman leading the major leagues in batting average, homers, hits, and runs batted in.
Other than that, he hasn't done much in the early going.
In the last, Ryan Zimmerman, the month of April. This is coming after 3 seasons where, to be kind, he had limited production. And it looked like his body was broken down. He might be done, you thought, in his early 30s, but whatever he fixed it good.
Maybe healthy for the first time in 3 years, and he made some tweaks mechanically to his swing at the plate. He's always had that big leg kick with the front side, but they looked at some video and realized that along with that big leg kick, when he put the left foot back down, he was striding in toward home plate, which closed up his right shoulder, or his left shoulder rather. He was closing himself off from inside pitches. It got him a little more squared up after that high leg kick.
There's also been a lot of talk about launch angle with Ryan Zimmerman. More of an upswing now, driving the ball in the air. They've got a base hit up on the board for Bryce Harper, so no error charged to Lamb on that play. Zimmerman comes into tonight riding an 8-game hitting streak. He's hitting .485 during his streak. Last 8 games, he's got 6 home runs and 16 RBIs. He has had at least 1 extra base hit in 7 straight games. Taijuan's ahead 0-2. Time now, BB, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, giving you all these offensive numbers about the Nationals, we got to find a way to slow their roll, slow them down a little bit. Maybe get Ryan Zimmerman out here in a big situation early in the ball game. Will take some of the wind out of the National sails.
No team in baseball has scored more runs than Washington, nearly 30 more runs than everyone else. Just ahead of the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. Fastball missed. It's 1-2. Taiwan has found himself in the same boat that Tanner Roark was in the top half of this inning. A lot of pitches and traffic around him on the bases. .21 pitches, still more balls than strikes. 2-2 on Ryan Zimmerman. Worth at second and Harper at first. Hop to shortstop. Ahmed for one. Drury's there. They roll the double play. 2 outs and Worth in at third. That helps.
That really helps. Taylor made hit hard right at Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Easy flip on to Brandon Drury. Everything that Zimmerman does well offensively, running is not one of them. Easy double play ball that time.
Well, this is where things tend to wear you out. You get by Zimmerman, and here comes Murphy. 343 and 5 homers. And he's been on one of his patented hitting tears lately. See how Murphy stands. He really gets in there on top of the plate. He used to be well back in the box, but when he played with the Mets, he worked with their hitting coach Kevin Long. He's almost like Anthony Rizzo that way. He's not quite out over the plate like Rizzo is, but he's right on top of it. Here's the strike with a fastball, 1-1.
Now you really have to trust that your hands are quick enough to get to an inside fastball if you're going to stand that close to the dish. And you mentioned Anthony Rizzo. We know he can get to an inside fastball, and the numbers would tell you that Murphy's not having too much trouble getting to it either.
Yeah, he hammers fastballs, especially inside. He can pull anything inside with power, which is what allows him to get on top of the plate like that. Fouls that one off. And Taiwan's ahead 1-2. This guy has been on a roll. 15 hits and 16 RBIs in his last 9 games. And the thing about Murphy has been you're almost never ahead in the count against him because he's a very good 2-strike hitter. He'll swing in 2-strike counts more often than most guys up there because he is not afraid of contact in those situations, not afraid to chase something, because he almost always gets the bat on the baseball. 306 with 2 strikes this year, including 3 home runs. Two outs. Worth is at third. A run is in.
A lot of pitches in the first inning for both starters.
Yep.
Taijuan Walker's next delivery would be number 28.
On the ground to second, Brandon Drury well back on the outfield grass. Throws him out, they strand Worth. But the Nationals get the equalizer. Tied at 1 after 1 in D.C. Offense here at Nats Park. First of a 3-game series, the D-backs and the Nationals. 1-1 as Yasmani Tomas leads off the second against right-hander Tanner Roark. How about that? His last start at Colorado, 41 pitches in 5 innings. Tonight, 33 pitches in 1 inning against the D-backs. Making them work. Tomas, Drury, and Herman 5, 6, and 7 in the Diamondbacks second. Slider is in there. It's 0-1. Yasmani Tomas, 291. Tied with Jake Lamb for the team lead in homers. One behind Lamb for the team RBI lead. 0-2. These two have seen each other before. Tomas homered off Tanner Roark in this ballpark when we were here last September. Lobaton wants it up, but missed. 1-2. The flashback. Chase Field off Tanner Roark for 1. And then the last road series of the season here, number 2. 2-2.
It's actually been very good hitting weather here in the nation's capital early in the season, which is, as you can imagine, not the norm, but they've had some very comfortable temperatures in the early going this season. Talking to Chris Spire, the bench coach for Dusty Baker, said the ball was flying out of here.
Tanner Roark has gone to a full count on the first 5 batters he's faced tonight. Tomas strikes out. Third strikeout for Yasmani.
Well, we saw Yasmani chase a high fastball early in the count, and Roark finishes him off with that slider low and away. Those are the 2 pitches that most teams attack Yasmani Tomas with, the high fastball and the hard slider low and away.
Roark with the 3 strikeouts, including the last 2. Here's Brandon Drury, 318 and a home run. Drury's hit safely in 6 straight games and 9 of his last 10. 40 pitches for Tanner Roark already, 25 strikes. 0-2. Murphy at second, bobbles it, recovers, and throws him out.
Hey fans, a D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
3 in a row set down by Roark. Here's the catcher, Chris Herman. 167 with a homer. And the Nationals will put the shift on for the Herminator. Turner, the shortstop, moves behind the second base bag. Murphy back in the outfield grass. But they leave Rendon over near third base, so the shortstop spot is wide open.
I would guess that Rendon will move over to a straightaway shortstop position after Chris Herman gets a strike on him. This is that take away the bunt thing. Chris Herman bunted one time in A ball, so they take the bunt away every time he comes to the plate now.
Well, he's known for that, sure.
You see the overloaded right side of the infield, but Rendon the only guy home on the third base side.
Taylor in center, a step or 2 over toward left center field. Change up in there for a strike. 2-2.
Hanging changeup up there, belt high, middle of the plate.
And pitching backwards, a changeup and a 2-1 count. Oh, well, I guess it used to be. Now, not so much.
Not so much now, but yeah, that would be considered pitching backwards.
Curveball, tried it, missed. It's a full count, 3-2. The 6th full count of the ball game for Roark. The shortstop Ahmed on deck. Well, it's becoming clear that the Diamondbacks will be getting into that Nationals bullpen. And at this pace, a lot earlier than they planned. Roark approaching 50 pitches through 1 2/3. 3-2 to Herman. The Herminator laces it down the right field line. 3rd hit for the Diamondbacks, a 2-out single.
Good reward for a battling at bat there by Chris Herman. I mean, it's one thing to see a lot of pitches, and you really like that against an opposing pitcher early in the ball game, but hey, you'd like some of those long at bats to pay off with a base hit at the end like Chris Herman did right there.
Yeah, Chris, that helps him snap out of a 3 for 31. Now here's Nick batting .213 with a home run. First pitch slider is a strike. Roark ready to get it and throw it. He's trying to work quickly. 50 pitches, 32 strikes. 0-2.
Pitching backwards would be throwing a fastball here, 0-2.
You called it. Roark has got 4 strikeouts. We're tied at 1 in Washington. Against the Mets on Sunday. We'll lead off the bottom of the second. Our Cox high-speed highlights. He's got 3 home runs this season. All 3 of them came here against the Mets Sunday when Rendon went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs.
What a day. What a month in a day. It only happened one other time in Major League Baseball history, a 6 for 6 day with 3 homers and 10 RBIs. The other guy to do it was Walker Cooper, a catcher for the Cincinnati Reds back in 1949.
Cooper was 6 for 7 with 3 and 10. Rendon made it 6 for 6. And talking to some of the Nationals guys, he could have had more RBIs because later in the game when they were up by so much, the base runners kind of took it easy, didn't come in on a single from second base when normally they would have. So he could have had even more than his 10 runs batted in. And the fans here want more. Big ovation for Rendon as he looks at ball one. Last player with at least 10 runs batted in one game was the Angels' Garrett Anderson. That was back in 2007. Rendon only the 13th player never to do that. Curveball from Taiwan bounces away. It's 2-0. Three homers and 15 RBIs for the season. He had 3 and 10 on Sunday. That's amazing. Fastball's a strike, 2-1. Anthony Rendon played his college ball at Rice in Houston, Texas. Was the 6th overall pick in the 2011 draft. And he drives one deep left center field. Tomas on the run. He won't get there. A leadoff double for Anthony Rendon, whose hot hitting continues. His 4th double this year.
I think at times Yasmani Tomas gets a little too dependent on A.J. Pollock's range in center field. He was just kind of gliding over into the gap in left center that time and then realized A.J. couldn't get there. By the time Yasmani turned it on, he was late to get to the spot. Rendon on at second base with his 4th double of the year. Yeah, when you have a center fielder that can basically cover foul line to foul line on a ball hitting the gap, you don't always get your best jump because you're counting on AJ to come over and help you out. But that time Tomas, the only guy that could have gotten to that ball.
Well, here is the new center fielder, at least for the time being. It's Michael Taylor, who's getting a big opportunity now. With Adam Eaton out for the year, 219, 3 runs batted in. He's played only 15 games. But he's got 5 hits in his last 2 games.
Well, Taylor's had some auditions up here at the major league level before, and for the most part has not swung the bat well enough to justify an everyday role at the big league level, but he's going to be given an extended showcase here to win that job in center field.
If not, they may have to make a move and go find a center fielder. This will be the 3rd different time that Taylor's had a chance to prove that he can be an everyday major league player. He's been behind both Denard Span and Ben Revere here before. Always very good defensive center fielder, but he just has not hit. This is the injury to Adam Eaton last week in a gruesome knee injury. He tore the ACL in his left knee, landing on the bag like that.
Now, not only the left knee, which obviously is the far more concerning injury, but a high ankle sprain that probably would have put him on the disabled list all by itself.
So he is done for the season, the former Diamondback, and we wish Adam Spanky Eaton all the best. Well, it's got to be frustrating, just acquired by the Nationals in the offseason, one of the biggest trades this winter. And he had been a very good fit here.
I was just going to say the same thing. You got a lot of very professional guys, some veteran players that they're very close to the vest, a little like Goldie. They're not overly emotional or not the kind of guy to be a rah-rah on the dugout, but Adam Eaton was that guy. He was their motor.
A real spark of energy at the top of the lineup. But now Worth is batting second with Turner leading off, and Taylor in the 7th spot trying to win the job, or at least show that he can do it. They have another guy they like a lot, young Rafael Bautista, who's 24 and has exceptional speed. But he's only had a couple of at-bats in his big league career. He is up with the big league team right now. But Taylor gets the first crack at the center field job.
I asked several people with the Nationals would they consider moving Trey Turner back to center field where he played last year, and it was an emphatic no from everybody. Trey Turner is the shortstop.
Well, Wilmer Defoe, who we saw last year, did a pretty good job filling in at shortstop for Turner while Turner was on the DL with that hamstring issue. So they do have a guy they like. But yeah, Trey Turner's one of those guys. Leave him there and let him do his thing. He is special. Full count to Michael Taylor. Taiwan's command just has not been sharp so far tonight.
And coupled with the tight strike zone by Brian O'Nora behind the plate, a couple of extra base runners via the walk here in the first couple innings.
Struck out 11 without walking a batter in his last start against the Padres, but he's already walked 2 so far. And once again, the Nationals have 2 men on base. Here's the catcher, Jose Lobaton. In there for Matt Wieters, who is under the weather. Just 2 for 21 this year. Does have a homer. He's got Rendon at second and Taylor at first. Lobaton last year only 39 games with Washington, just under 100 at bats. And we were here at the very end of last season, and it was Lobaton who had a single that broke up Matt Cook's no-hit bid in the 6th inning. When Matt got the start for Zach Greinke, who had to be scratched. Came out here and had 5 no-hit innings against Washington. That was our last road series of the year. 21 strikes, 20 balls for Taijuan Walker so far. That's fouled off. That's the Walker split changeup. Not much of a changeup at 88. But compared to a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, it might be. He did not go. Scott Berry at third. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jose Lobaton, with the pitcher Tanner Roark on deck. Another splitter missed. Another full count, 3-2. Broken bat roller to first. Runners will move along. Goldie takes it himself, and that's the first out in the second. And here comes Roark, who I imagine was prepared to bunt the runners over. That's already in a sense taken place. So he's up there with 1 out and first base open.
Yeah, 2 for 7 on the season. That's a .286 batting average. He's also put down 3 sack bunts, and I always look at the strikeouts and walks. He struck out once, walked once. Pitchers rarely walk.
True. Well, you can't walk pitchers. I mean,
no, you shouldn't. No. Ever.
Taijuan, in that win over San Diego last Thursday, had a season high 104 pitches. He went 8 innings. He's well behind that pace here tonight. But what helped him against the Padres, it seemed like, was being able to stick with that dominant fastball. And he felt like as the game kept going, he did get stronger. He really got in a groove and a flow out there. And what helped him was realizing in the first inning that he was trying to overthrow just a little bit. I don't know if that's happening here, but it's kind of starting out about the same way. And he was self-aware enough last week to back off just a bit. And when he did that, very quickly found a groove. Going in and out with location, up and down, mixing in some off-speed pitches here and there. But he has yet to find that groove here tonight. And he's behind on the pitcher, 2-0. Before tonight, Taijuan had walked more than 1 batter in a game only once in 5 starts. He's already walked 2. This missed with another fastball. Now he's behind on Roark. 3 balls and no strikes. And the top of that dangerous lineup is next with Turner, the leadoff man.
Roark probably in a take 2 strike situation right here. Definitely taking the 3-0. And I would guess he's going to take the 3-1 pitch as well.
Makes sense. Looks at a fastball, full count 3-2.
Well, when a guy's struggling with his command out there on the mound and you find your pitcher in a 3-0 count, make the other guy throw 3 strikes in a row. Don't do him any favors. Don't chase a bad pitch. Don't put the ball in play weakly. Make him throw 3 strikes in a row.
50 pitches, 25 strikes. That one's fouled back. Taiwan has now gone to a full count on 3 consecutive Washington hitters. Got him. First strikeout for Taiwan Walker, 2 down, and here's the leadoff man, Trey Turner. Turner doubled and scored his first time up. Two down, Rendon at third, Taylor at second. Fastball, strike 1. Trey Turner last year, second to the Dodgers' Corey Seager in the National League Rookie of the Year voting. Played in just over 70 games with Washington, hit .342 and 13 homers. Stole 33 bases. Swing and a miss. There's the splitter.
Well, you're right about the velocity on that splitter. 88, 89, 90 miles an hour sometimes. But when your fastball's 96, 97, that's a very effective off-speed pitch. That's some guy's best fastball.
This by Taiwan. Drury is there. They get the speedy Turner. Very good job by Taiwan Walker to strand 2 runners in that inning and keep it a 1-1 ball game.
in Washington. Top of the third. I'm Todd Walsh. Welcome back. And Steve and Bob, as you know, in the days now of the 60-second news cycle, nothing is really new. Once this happened here inside the Diamondbacks clubhouse on Sunday, as this team departed for Washington, it was out there, and there you go, from all kinds of social media platforms. The Diamondbacks decided to dress up. The theme is, well, and was, the United States. Archie Bradley, the perpetrator of this, said he came up with an idea on Monday. Steve, there's your pitch. And went to Torey Lovullo and said, hey, look, we were thinking about wearing suits to Washington. We wanted to dress up from time to time on the road. And I guess a couple of the veteran guys shot that down.
Nice.
Said, well, yes, thank God.
Yes.
Here's another one. So they came up with that. They had 4 or 5 days to prepare and get on Amazon and get all their duds ready to roll. And Torey Lovullo, as you saw on Diamondbacks Live, was all in. He dressed up, I think, with stars and Jerry Nair and the stripes.
Little flare into right center field. Taylor coming over. He'll give way to Harper, and that's the first out in the third.
But as you guys know, it actually kind of morphed into a live concert from Phoenix to Washington until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. As a couple of guys, A.J. Pollock and Andrew Chafin, brought acoustic guitars. They call themselves the Mile High Amigos. Missing, though, Bob, as you know, was the staple of 3 chords and the truth, because there was no tuning bar.
Yeah, how could you tell?
Yeah. Wow.
They were going, as you said, from coast to coast. There was no let up.
Well, when the meal came out, it was like a wildfire. It died down for a bit, and then it roared again.
Yeah. But this is my 5th season with the Diamondbacks, and that is the loudest, happiest flight that I can ever remember.
Yeah,
and which I think is a great sign.
Absolutely. And for me, parachuting in a little late as I do, to see that when I got here was a story to me. As I talked to Torey, there was a clear message. This team likes one another, and they're willing to play for each other.
Yeah, you're the skipper up there at the front of the plane. What do you think when you hear all the noise and partying in the back?
Well, if we would have had a game yesterday, I might have suggested that after an hour or so, hey, well, everybody just chill out a little bit, get some rest. We got a game tomorrow. But since it was an off day, yeah, that's a flying party.
It was just great to see everybody together. I mean, yes, look, last season was not fun. It was a long season, and then the flights were very quiet and stoic. When you're losing, that naturally is going to be the case. But they had the walk-off win Sunday, and they were together, and they were having fun in a great way, and I thought it was a real positive sign regarding this year's team.
I could have lived without the song Talladega 4 or 5 times. That's just my personal side, but
that's where the old noise cancelers come in.
And you learned your lesson on that, didn't you, Todd?
Charge your batteries before you go coast to coast.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah,
Come on, man.
It was a difficult final hour.
I bet it was.
It was longer than a Springsteen concert. It really was.
With more encores.
That's right.
CO was in the aisle. I saw him. He looked like he had a little guitar going, standing and trying to play it anyway, in the aisle there.
The group looked like 25 guys that had been cut from the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's true.
And a couple of Washington Generals.
Yeah.
Hazelbaker looked like he just came back from plowing the back 40 because he had his Indiana farmer outfit on in the overalls. It was quite a trip. This is what. Here's the picture. Hazelbaker's front and center here, sitting down.
With the bib overalls, yeah.
But you can see Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, toward the left there with the jacket. He looks like a
Drew Carey or somebody, game show host.
He looks like Ted Knight from Caddyshack.
Oh, there you go.
Doesn't he?
There's no gambling in Bushwood.
Wouldn't want to do anything illegal. But yeah, it was really fun. It was. I just thought it was great to see. It really was. Not so great to hear, but great to see.
I do stand by the fact. I don't think Hazelbaker actually dressed up. I think he just showed up.
It's a fair point too. You're right. Just a coincidence. So I'm covered. CO. Another tremendous at bat by a Diamondback hitter. Owings has worked the count full both times he's been up there and draws the first walk of the ball game against Roark. Yeah, Chris Iannetta was back there playing guitar. Hazelbaker, I don't know what was going on. He was up and down the aisle in various, well, stages of outfits.
Yes.
Yeah.
wardrobe changes.
Yes. Well, it's when you've got a 3-hour show. That's what you do. I didn't know Chris Iannetta played guitar.
Actually have their Wi-Fi set up where they can play FIFA against each other and all kinds of video games with 3 or 4 guys dialed in.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I love the FIFA game. It's hard, though. 1-0 to Goldie. Owings takes off, got a great jump, no throw from Lobaton, and CO's in there. His 8th stolen base of the year. 2nd stolen base tonight for the D-backs.
A.J. Pollock got a great jump back in the 1st inning when he stole 2nd base. Chris Owings gets this equally good jump, and Lobaton just doesn't even risk a throw that time. I don't even know if the Nationals were covering 2nd base. I think they were just kind of conceding that stolen base, which makes no sense.
You can't concede the stolen bases against this team. Goldie hits it hard to left. Worth is there and runs it down. We'll head to the home half of the 3rd. It's a 1-1 ball game. Park in D.C. First of 3, the Diamondbacks and the Nationals. Hey fans, Pepsi is the official soft drink of your Arizona Diamondbacks. Stop by your local Fry's food stores and stock up on some today. Pepsi, the official soft drink of your D-backs. You know, every year, I know we're going to be high up here. I'm prepared for it emotionally, perhaps mentally, but then you get up here and you think this is ridiculous. We are literally a mile high up in the air here. There we are, way on the top in the middle there. The players are little ants. It's like being on top of the Washington Monument and calling a baseball game. Here we are.
And there they are, way down there.
Can't even see. I mean, look how far you have to pan out just to get to the field.
Yeah, it is a little shock to the system. I'm with you. I've been here enough now that I know what to expect. But the first time you walk in that booth and look out and, whoa, man, I left my sprinklers on back in Scottsdale.
You can see the garage doors open. Well, we have a lovely view of the Capitol Dome from up here on a beautiful night in Washington, D.C. A little breezy, but very comfortable.
We can see the Capitol in 27 different states from up here.
60 pitches for Taijuan Walker, 31 strikes as Worth fouls the 3-1 off, and it's a full count, 3-2.
Boy, too bad in the top half of that 3rd. Goldie scalded that ball to left field, hooking away from Jason Worth, but he got a good jump on it, was able to run it down.
Left Owings at 2nd base. Ryan O'Nora, breezy down there as we mentioned, got some dirt in his eye behind the plate. Nats Park in Washington, D.C. This area around the ballpark is booming. All kinds of construction and developments around here, right on the shores of the river. As Walker gets his second strikeout. They started building all the stuff around the ballpark back about 2006, 2007. Then the recession hit and everything shut down. And nothing was built for a couple of years. But now it is a construction boom on all sides of it.
Yeah, you want to be in the heavy equipment rental business right about now. Yeah, you're right. Some of the buildings started and then stopped.
They had to just stop everything.
Yeah.
There was suddenly everybody remembers what that was like. There was no money, but boy, they have picked up where they left off and then some. Bryce Harper hit a ball in the hole at third that went under the glove of Jake Lamb. It was ruled an RBI single, but probably a play Jake should have made. And that's how the Nationals got their run after Turner doubled to lead off the ball game. Harper might be a tricky matchup for Taiwan. He's been laying off those high fastballs in recent weeks. And he's among the best in baseball at laying off of those high fastballs, especially when they're out of the strike zone. And as we've seen with Taiwan, that is his go-to pitch. And he's behind 2-0. Now make it 3 balls and no strikes. So you can't attack Bryce Harper the way Taiwan might normally attack some hitters. Just power fastballs up. Harper, for a guy who is super aggressive, can also be very selective at the plate. And there's a good example. Third walk of the ball game issued by Taiwan Walker.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. It's the season premiere of the Local 9 as Todd Walsh sits down with Paul Goldschmidt, Torey Lovello, Jeff Mathis, and J.J. Putz to find out their favorite things to do and places to go outside of the ballpark. It's the 10th inning, Local 9, presented by CenturyLink, Sundays at 3 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona.
Did they have those ads when you were a kid in Coshocton? Sunday!
Oh, yeah. Beautiful Thompson Drag Raceway.
Yeah, I used to have those in Boston, too, growing up.
Yeah, those are a staple everywhere.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Ryan Zimmerman hit into a double play in his first at bat, the reigning National League Player of the Week. Bryce Harper does not have a stolen base this year. He's 0 for 2 in his steal attempts. Goldie holds him on the bag at first. Driven to right field. Chris Owings won't get it. It's off the wall. Harper flying into third. He'll stop there, and Zimmerman is at it again. He's now got at least 1 extra base hit in 8 consecutive games.
Ryan Zimmerman, throughout his career, for me, has always been a guy that hits the ball from foul line to foul line. That's a slider up in the zone away from him. He just bangs it out into that right field corner. You see a guy this big and look at his numbers, especially early in his career, and you would assume he's a dead pull hitter, but he's not. He sprays them all over the ballpark.
Taiwan's in a jam here. He's got a Harper at third, Zimmerman at second, 1 out. And Daniel Murphy is the hitter. Murphy grounded out to second his first time up. Taiwan got out of a second and third jam to win the second inning. Now left to do it again here in the third. He won't get out of this one. Murphy knocks it into center. Harper scores. Zimmerman right behind. Throw is cut off. And the Nationals have a 3-1 lead. Murphy jumped on the first pitch.
Looked like a fastball up in the zone, way up in the zone. Murphy spanks it back up the middle of the field. Thought AJ might have a play on the trail runner there. Zimmerman, who, as I mentioned before, doesn't run extremely well, but he got a good jump off of contact and scores without a play at the plate.
Anthony Rendon doubled to lead off the second. Now 5 hits for Washington. Taijuan about to throw his 70th pitch of the ball game. Fastball right by him. It's 0-1.
A lot of offensive highlights for this Nationals team in the month of April, but the one that really jumps off the page to me is 5 times. Never happened before in Major League Baseball history. 5 times they scored 14 runs or more in the month.
Yeah, as you said, first team ever to do that. Walker ahead 0-2.
Boy, and in order to have that kind of production, it's not 1 or 2 guys that are hot, or one guy gets hot when the other one cools off. Everybody's been swinging a bat well for Dusty Baker. Some better than others, but they've all been contributing.
Well, Rendon certainly led the charge on Sunday against the Mets, but he looks at a cut fastball and strikes out. Now Michael Taylor, who walked his first time up. Murphy at first and 2 outs. One of the guys that's been giving Torey Lovullo some length in the Diamondback bullpen has been Randall Delgado, who was just outstanding Sunday against Colorado. Randall went 3 innings and threw 43 pitches, so I'm just guessing that he's probably not available for tonight. So that takes one big arm out of the bullpen if Taijuan has a short night here, already at 72 pitches. Well, he was outstanding against Colorado. 3 innings, gave up only 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 4, and got the win. Taijuan starting to go to that cutter a little more often. 1-1 now on Taylor.
One more offensive note on the Nats that caught my eye. Coming into play tonight, they'd scored 73 runs in their last 6 games. Kansas City Royals have scored 63 all season.
Well, they scored at least 11 in 3 consecutive games at Colorado. That was last week, then that 23 spot against the Mets on Sunday. They lead all of baseball in runs scored, nearly 30 more runs than everyone else. Last 6 games, there it is. They've hit 370. Murphy is back inside. Zimmerman, Harper, and Murphy are both 1, 2, and 3 in the majors in hits and RBIs. And Murphy just knocked in 2 more. Fastball in. Well, this is one guy that Taijuan should attack when he can. Taylor has not hit all that well, but he walked his first time up. Now he's ahead again, 3-1. Over his last 3 starts, Taijuan has struck out 24, walked only 2. But tonight, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Goldie will play behind the runner. There goes Murphy, and Taylor looks at a fastball for strike 3. Nationals get 2. They lead it 3-1.
It'll be Lamb, Tomas, and Drury for the Diamondbacks, trailing the Nationals 3-1 as we head to the top half of the fourth. Time to take a look back at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Stan Musial back in 1954 becomes the first major leaguer to hit 5 home runs in a doubleheader. Now, the interesting part of this story to me, there was an 8-year-old boy by the name of Nate Colbert that was at that game at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis watching Stan Musial hit those 5 homers in a doubleheader. 18 years later, Nate Colbert became the second player in Major League Baseball history to hit 5 homers in a doubleheader.
One of the great players in the history of the Padres, Nate Colbert. So here's Lamb, who struck out looking his first time up against Tanner Roark. Nate Colbert played with the Padres when they had those classic mustard yellow uniforms, both shirts and pants.
Mustard and brown.
Don Zimmer running around in those mustard colored uniforms. Still very windy down on the field. The wind is blowing in from left center field. Very breezy night at the ballpark.
Of course, we're up here above the jet stream. It's very comfortable here in the booth.
This, as long as you don't need any paper. I saw, by the way, your notes blow out of the booth and up into the sky a moment ago.
Yep, they're gone.
Yeah, they're about 4 sections below us.
That's how information gets leaked.
Jake Lamb hits a high drive, deep right field, and that one is gone. Jake Lamb, number 6, and it's a 3-2 ball game. Good start to the D-back fourth. Jake has now hit safely in 5 straight.
Oh, that's the happy zone right there. An off-speed pitch, 82-mile-an-hour changeup, inside corner and down. If Jake had to ask for a pitch, that's probably where he would want it. Just absolutely smokes it out of here to right field.
That's a jumbo jack, a free jumbo jack tomorrow, the purchase of a large drink from our friends at Jack in the Box. As Manny Tomas follows that one off. I think that one got into that wind, which is blowing in from left center field toward the right field foul pole. So that may have helped it a bit. But well struck, really kept his head down on the ball, went down and got it.
You know, we were talking about all the construction that was halted and then resumed, and Chris Spire was telling me before the game he thinks it may affect the wind here at the ballpark a little bit when all these buildings eventually get built.
We saw the same thing in San Diego with all the construction going out behind center field at Petco Park.
The normal wind currents are disrupted by those buildings, and the wind goes a different direction and comes into the ballpark from a different direction and causes the ball to do some funny things.
Well, it's a very circular construction to the infield bowl here. It's just a straight circle all the way around, foul pole to foul pole. So, and if you got left center field open, there's an open walkway area back there. So when that wind comes through in here, it just swirls around and around and around. 2-2 on El Tanque as Manny Tomas. Lays off a curveball. He's worked it full. Tanner Roark had a bunch of full counts in the ball game. Now at 75 pitches, 46 strikes. Brandon Drury, who grounded out his first time up, is on deck. Tomas hits it hard, but right at Murphy at second. He collects it and throws him out, 1 down.
Good contact, bad compass that time. Nothing you can do about that. Got a pitch that was too close to take. Barreled it up. Unfortunately, hit it right at the National second baseman.
Brandon Drury trying to extend a 6-game hitting streak, 0 for 1 so far. Brandon has had 2 hits in each of his last 2 games. Brandon, before the game today, have to say, did not look super great in terms of health. Whatever's going around me, I've bit him a little bit. But he's in there, good to go. 1-1. Looked a little peaked during batting practice.
Well, the rest of the guys were all wearing T-shirts or short sleeve jackets, and he had on a hoodie.
I would not want to have to tell Brandon Drury he's not playing. I don't care what kind of shape he was in.
And as we mentioned earlier, David Peralta on the at least on the shelf to start the ball game tonight, may be used later on. But you know, when you know one of your teammates is down and isn't going to play, you take it upon yourself. I'm not as bad as he is. I need to be in the lineup. You know, we can't afford to have 2 or 3 or 4 guys sitting out with the flu. I'm not that bad. I can play.
Roark, 80 pitches, 50 strikes. The bouncer to third. Rendon charges, and too late. Drury beats it out. Infield single for Brandon Drury. So make it a 7-game hitting streak for Drew Lowe.
Well, that's the best time to hit that little swinging bunt with a 2-strike count. All the Nationals infielders had backed up, including Anthony Rendon at third base, and then you take a full swing and dribble the ball down the third baseline. You got a good chance to beat it out, and Brandon did.
Did you say the other day that you'd be surprised when guys are maybe a little under the weather, they actually hit better than they might normally?
Yeah, you don't cloud your head with thoughts. You don't stand in the batter's box and try to guess along with the pitcher or the catcher, or you don't think too much. You don't feel good. You just react to what you see.
Chris Herman gets one in the air. This is well hit. Left field. Worth is back, and there it goes. Chris Herman, that's number 2, and the Diamondbacks have come back to take the lead. The Hermanator, a single and a homer. It's 4-3 D-backs. Boy, Herman came into tonight stuck in a 3 for 31. That's his second of the year.
That ball was clubbed to the opposite field. Who knew the Hermanator had that kind of opposite field power?
This is right about the time last year where he got absolutely smoking hot. Same pattern has continued. A very slow April, not a whole lot of offense, but last May you couldn't get Herman out. Opposite field power right here.
Ball tailing up and away from him. He just stayed on it well, tried to drive it to the opposite field, got it up high enough to sneak it over that fence out there. Get down.
Nick Ahmed. Worth makes a nice sliding grab. Makes a base hit away from Ahmed. That's the second out in the 4th. A jumbo jack off the bat of the Hermanator, Chris Herman. He was in an All-American outfit on the flight. He had his Stars and Stripes jacket going, red and white striped pants. The pitcher, Taijuan Walker, who's now got a 4-3 lead. Home runs in this inning from Lamb and Herman. A 3-run Arizona 4th. Roark now at 85 pitches. They're going to get into that bullpen.
Unless they're going to let Tanner Roark throw 185 pitches, they're definitely going to get into that bullpen tonight.
Dusty used to do that.
Yeah, back in the day.
Well, maybe not so much. Waves at that one, a slider. It's 1-2. Yeah, there's a fastball for the strikeout. 2 homers in the 4th inning. Jake Lamb gets it started. His 6th of the year. And then later in the inning, Chris Herman goes the other way for his 2nd. It's 4-3 Diamondbacks. 4-3 lead after home runs by Jake Lamb and Chris Herman. CenturyLink, what's next? Diamondback Line pregame show at 3:30 tomorrow. Robbie Ray, the former National, is on the mound. A matchup of left-handers with Gio Gonzalez. First pitch at 4:05 Arizona time. Diamondback Line pregame show at 3:30. Oh, by the way, it was announced today that Braden Shipley will start the game here Thursday, which is a 1 o'clock local start. That's a 9 or 10 in the morning start back home. Yeah, 10 a.m. right?
10 o'clock, I believe.
Where are we again? I forget.
Yeah. We're on the moon, I think.
We are. Jose Lobaton leads off the home half of the fourth against Taijuan Walker, who's now got a 4-3 lead. Yeah, so that'll be Braden Shipley and Max Scherzer. 10:05 start Arizona time on Thursday. So breakfast with the Diamondbacks Thursday morning.
Baseball and bagels.
Taijuan, 80 pitches, only 42 strikes. The command has not been super tonight, but he's battled. Throws a fastball by Lobaton, 2-1. Lobaton only 2 for 22 at the plate this year.
I'll tell you, that 3 spot in the top half of the 4th inning should motivate Taijuan Walker. If he's going to find it tonight, he needs to find it here in this 4th inning. Team spotted him to a 1-run lead.
Well, he's got the 8-9 hitters to lead it off too.
Yep.
Taijuan tonight has walked 3, struck out 4, giving up 3 runs on 5 hits. The pitcher Roark on deck. Got him. 5 strikeouts. That's 3 in a row for Taijuan Walker. 1 down. Roark struck out his first time up. That was Taijuan's first strikeout of the ball game. It was the second out in the 2nd inning. Walker had 3 strikeouts in the 3rd. Now he started off the 4th inning with a punch out. So just like that start against San Diego, maybe overthrowing a bit early in the game, but settling into a groove here, or at least trying to. Got a little more flow to him right now. There's that hip turn. That hip turn with Taijuan seems to come and go a bit. He did that in Seattle last year, working with Mel Stottlemyre Jr., where he turned that hip at the top of his delivery toward third base. Not quite at full Johnny Cueto, but the hip turn has not been consistent this year. Right there. See, straight toward the plate that time. Sometimes it's an exaggerated turn, other times not.
That's where you hear pitchers talk about lifting the front leg. In his case, the left leg. When he right there, just lift the leg straight up. Don't swing it back. If you swing it back too far, that's when you get caught over rotating, or maybe you don't rotate far enough. But if you lift the leg straight up and trust that your body's going to get itself into the position you're looking for, you have a much better chance of throwing strikes. When you swing that leg back, then it's kind of hit or miss when you come out of it.
Roark hits one in the air, very shallow left field. Tomas coming in, 2 down.
Hey fans, MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Arizona Diamondbacks home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and our favorite, more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
Well, Taijuan has done what he's supposed to do. He's gotten the 8 and 9 hitters to start the 4th inning. Now here's the leadoff man, Trey Turner, who has doubled, scored a run, and grounded out. He's 1 for 2. Walker has set down all 4 he's faced since the Murphy 2-run single in the 3rd. Taijuan's going to need to be pretty efficient here. He's at 90 pitches, 49 strikes, if he wants to at least get through 5. Just threw 104 pitches in the win over the Padres last Thursday, but that was 104 to complete 8 innings. He's well behind that pace here tonight. He got a little more of a hip rotation that time. On a hard splitter, it's a strike, 2-2. Hard fastball at 96 is fouled away. Fastball up. Ryan O'Nora says nope. The count is full 3-2. This is where you've got to win this inning because you've got the big boys coming up next. Worth, Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon. Tapper foul.
Taiwan wanted that one. He's upset. He's thrown a couple of pitches right down there at the bottom of the zone and did not get the call. We'll see if this one caught the bottom of the zone. Sure did.
Ryan O'Nora's just had a very, very small strike zone back there. That's the 4th walk of the ball game issued by Taiwan, and they've not all been on him.
Chris Herman trying to do some politicking back there behind home plate. Occasionally you've got to pitch the case for your pitcher. Hey, he's been right there all night long. He's hit that spot several times. You know, you got to give him that pitch. It's right there at the knees.
Jason Worth has walked and struck out. Got to keep an eye on the speedy Turner. Mentioned he had missed some time last month with a right hamstring strain. Was on the 10-day DL. Got the oven mitt on to protect that hand. Turner's a guy who always slides head first. In fact, he's got a bobblehead day coming up here this month, and the bobblehead is Trey Turner on a Pete Rose type head first slide.
Career numbers for Trey Turner. Perfect 4 for 4 this year, as you mentioned. A little bothered with a hamstring injury, so not running as aggressively as he might if he were 100% healthy.
Oh, he's got a big jump. Turner was going there, got a little panicky and went back toward the bag. And he's got happy feet down there at first. What's this?
We've seen the Diamondbacks runners do that at first base several times.
Davey Lopes, the great Dodger base stealer, coaching in first for the Nationals. Dusty Baker's teammate on those great Dodger teams in the late 70s. This is where it's going to get away from Taiwan because he's just at about 100 pitches here, hoping to get out of that 4th. That missed strike 3 call by Brian O'Nora is really going to come back and bite him here. At least 20 pitches in every inning. Turner takes off. The throw from Herman is a good one, but it's really hard to get this guy out. He is lightning quick. Trey Turner can really run.
Kind of a leaning start over there at first base, and one of the rare times you'll see him go into a bag feet first. That throw was right on the money to Brandon Drury.
Here's that oven mitt to protect the hand on those hit first slides. Stayed away from it that time, and Walker about to throw pitch number 100. And still 1 out to get in the 4th. Bullpen quiet for the Diamondbacks. 2-1 on Jason Worth. Cutter missed. 3 balls and a strike. Harper on deck. Mike Butcher on the phone. Popped it up. First base side for Goldie. And Taiwan able to strand that 2-out walk. Diamondbacks lead the Nationals 4-3.
yesterday, and as you can see, many of the Diamondbacks enjoying a personalized tour of the Senate from none other than Senator John McCain. There we are assembled in his office right by the Barry Goldwater desk. He gives a great tour, as he did a couple of years ago when my partner Jody Jackson was here. But you see Tom Wilhelmsen there shaking his hand. He was proud to say that he was from Arizona. And then later on in the tour, as John McCain gave the tour, guys, in front of many, many tourists that were also on other tours, the tourists there began to realize that it was John McCain giving our tour. And somebody actually came up to Tom, just looked at him and said, "Can you please take a picture?" And Tom just stood there, and there is Tom Wilhelmsen taking a picture of some random family of the Senator, John McCain. Brian Henry captured that. It was just a cool moment. As Tom said, he was tall enough to be able to see the people coming. And
I was going to say, he's very tall. He'd be a good choice.
Yep.
Nice stop at third by Rendon. He throws out Pollock to open up the fifth.
We will we'll hear from Senator John McCain tomorrow on Diamondbacks Live. I believe he's attending the game here tomorrow night as well. But goosebumps for me at every step. I've never had that private tour before. I did get in trouble for taking pictures in the Senate floor.
Nice going.
I was not aware that that was not allowed.
Didn't realize you were a security risk.
Didn't know a guy there, so.
Wow, we found somewhere.
Wow.
Well, I just knew the senator.
You're not in with the new administration, huh?
In any event, we'll hear from John McCain tomorrow. One of the biggest Diamondbacks fans told the story how he has watched this team from literally all over the world, like in Mali, wherever that may be.
Yeah, where's Molly?
He explains tomorrow.
Wow. All right.
But I did debrief him on the Diamondbacks.
Debrief. Nice. Chris Owings.
Told him this was a team to invest his time in.
John McCain probably knows more about this team than the three of us put together.
I don't doubt it.
He rattled off the Rockies lineup.
Popped it up. Murphy's under it at second.
And you know, Todd, those tours are generally given by an intern, so I'm sure that's why people were a little befuddled when they saw John McCain leading a bunch of yahoos around the Senate.
And those yahoos, by the way, he got us onto the Senate train that took us from one place to another. And we all disembarked from the train.
Now, I did not know there was like a tram under there.
I didn't either.
It's pretty cool.
We all got off the train, the tram, and we were looking around. We couldn't find the senator. We all took the tram. He walked.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Yes. On 1,000 levels. He called Sunday's win a signature win. I mean, he was that.
It's hard to disagree. Based on the way the players reacted on the flights, it's hard to disagree. It meant a lot to him. Here's Goldie.
Well, especially under the circumstances, we had talked throughout the early part of the year how important the month of April was. You know, all those games with the National League West, 24 out of 27. You had to get off to a good start this year, given all those games against your own division, and to cap off the month with a walk-off extra inning victory, that was huge.
24 their first 27 against the National League West. The other 3 against last year's American League champion Cleveland Indians. Well, they swept Cleveland, and they won 16 of those first 27. And Torey Lovullo was quick to point out they're thrilled, they're very excited, but it's just 1/6 of the way home. It's a good start and nothing more. Zimmerman will give this a look near the seats. It's out of play. Bullpen will get busy. The left-hander TJ McFarland has started warming up with the Taijuan Walker already at 100 pitches. I think he's just over 100 pitches, and he's still got to get into the 5th here. We'll see if he gets that chance.
Makes you wonder, because McFarland is throwing right now while the Diamondbacks are hitting. Now maybe he just wants to be prepared in case he has to enter in the bottom half of the 5th.
Well, you got those lefties Harper and Murphy coming up 1st and 3rd in the home half of this
inning. Yeah, but usually when you see a relief pitcher throwing while your team is hitting, that's an indication that he's coming into the game. Now we don't know that for sure. We'll see here momentarily.
2-2 to Goldie. Diamondbacks lead at 4-3. 2 home runs in the 4th inning. A solo shot by Jake Lamb and a 2-run opposite field home run by Chris Herman. Roark had given up only 2 home runs all year, but he gave up 2 home runs in the 4th tonight. Here's the 3-2. Ryan O'Neill calling strikes for one team, for the other not so much. But the D-backs have a 4-3 lead. The 5th inning. D-backs fans, if you can't catch your games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's presented by your Valley Honda dealers. Just download the app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. We're in Washington, D.C., first of 3 against the Nationals. And the Diamondbacks have a 4-3 lead. Taijuan Walker at 101 pitches. Will face Bryce Harper to lead off the bottom of the 5th. And the shift is on. There's a ball, 1-0. Harper tonight, he's got an RBI single. He's walked and scored a run. Now hitting .398 for the year. Lamb all by himself on the left-hand side. Taijuan behind 2-0. Left-hander TJ McFarland is ready in the D-backs bullpen. See if Walker can get through 5 and get in line to get this win. There's the strike. Going to that cutter a little more often. It's 2-1.
Against the middle of this Nationals order, you don't want to put yourself in those hitters counts and then have to lay a 4-seam fastball down the middle of the plate to get back in the count. If you can throw anything else for a strike, that's going to improve your chances of getting some of these guys out.
Missed with a split finger fastball, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Taijuan tonight has walked 4. He struck out 5. Harper hits it right into the shift. Nick Ahmed over there, a 6-3 putout for the outfield grass. 1 down. This is the meat of the order here. Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy, all 3 of them 1, 2, and 3 atop the major league list for hits and RBIs. He's got Harper. Now here's Zimmerman, who has hit into a double play, doubled and scored a run.
All 3 have a hit in the ball game. A single for Harper, double for Zimmerman, a 2 RBI single for Murphy.
Zimmerman has now got a 9-game hitting streak, adding nearly 500 during his streak, and has had at least 1 extra base hit in 8 consecutive games. Fastball's in there. It's 1-1. Paul Emmel, the crew chief at first. 2 balls and a strike. Zimmerman was a guy who looked like, frankly, his best years were well behind him due to age and injury. Previous 3 seasons with Washington, he'd hit just .242, averaged about 12 home runs a year. But boy, he is healthy and swinging a hot bat. Looks like he did 10 years ago now at the age of 32.
I think if you had to make a comparison, Zimmerman is the Nationals' Goldie. He's a guy that doesn't call a lot of attention to himself. He shows up and tries to beat you any way he can every day. Bryce Harper gets a lot of national attention, and rightfully so. Trey Turner and his speed draws his share of attention. Daniel Murphy's been a consistent hitter for a long time, but Zimmerman is kind of the glue of this Nationals team for me.
He was the Nationals' first-round pick in their first year as a team after moving from Montreal. That was 05. Came up and played the same season he was drafted. Brian O'Nora finally gives Taijuan Walker that strike. And Zimmerman has rung up 2 down. Been waiting for that pitch for 5 innings now.
And I wonder how much of an effect Chris Herman has had getting in Brian O'Nora's ear back there behind home plate. When you've got a pitcher that's right around the edges and occasionally he's on the plate, occasionally he's just off the plate, you can sometimes plead your case to that home plate umpire and maybe get some of those borderline strikes.
You saw why Zimmerman was upset. Yep. Well, one more big out to get for Taijuan. It's Murphy, who knocked in 2 with a single in the 3rd. 112 pitches now for Walker.
This is one of those situations where Taijuan Walker, I would assume this is going to be his last inning of work here, and Torey Lovullo sent him out there only for the reason to give him a chance to win this ball game. Would have been very easy to pull the plug. It sends him back out there, even though that pitch count is creeping up, for one more inning just to give Taijuan Walker an opportunity to win this game.
It set a real tone for this entire team, not just the starting rotation, that he will give these guys every opportunity to extend their outings. As much rope as he possibly has to give. And that has really worked. Everything will start with this rotation. They've said that since the first day of spring training. 115 pitches for Taijuan Walker. Trying to get through the 5th. Fastball in, missed. 3-1. 3 ball counts in every hitter in this inning. Rendon would be next. He's on deck. He doubled in the 2nd. 3-1 is well off the plate. Another cut fastball. That's 5 walks for Taijuan Walker. And that's going to be it. Zori will go to the left-hander here to face Rendon. Taijuan Walker really labored. Did not get too many strike calls on some of those borderline pitches. Walked 5, struck out 6, and he's not able to complete 5 innings. Back from Washington, D.C., D-backs have a 4-3 lead. Capitol. Diamondbacks have a 4-3 lead. Taijuan Walker not able to finish the 5th inning, and you can see the emotion in the D-back dugout from their starter tonight. He wanted to get through 5. Not angry with Torey Lovullo, certainly. He got a very long leash from Torey, well over 100 pitches, but he didn't have great command tonight. He got no favors at all from the home plate umpire. And Bob, I think considering those two things, he pitched a very good ball game.
Yeah, it was obvious his command wasn't what we've seen from Taijuan lately, and he really struggled to find the edges of the zone. And he did get a couple of calls, most notably the strike 3 to Ryan Zimmerman in this inning. Looked like it was off the plate, but I think the ones he didn't get really hurt him in this game.
Our Ash line called to the bullpen. It's the left-hander TJ McFarland, just called up from AAA Reno last week. Working to Anthony Rendon, first pitch swinging, easy fly ball to right field for Chris Owings. And that strands the 2-out walk. We are through 5. D-backs lead the Nationals 4-3.
That I wanted to give you every possible opportunity to go 5 so you were in line for the win, but the bottom line is the team winning the ball game, and I just didn't like what I saw out there in that last inning.
Right there. That's why Torey Lovullo got absolutely rave reviews when he was announced as the manager of this ball club. He is a real relationship builder, and it's always one-on-one. Jake Lamb, who lit off the 4th with a home run, leads off the 6th against Tanner Rowan. Managing the personalities on an individual level, one-on-one.
Well, everybody that's in uniform wants to win. They want their team to win, but this is a game that you're heavily graded on your individual stats, and that's how you make your money in this game. So you have to take that into consideration as a manager. You'd like to believe that every player is just soul-minded on winning a game, and I don't care whether I'm part of it or not. I just want to win. But the reality is everybody wants to be a part of it, and everybody wants to contribute.
And the other reality is it was the right move. TJ McFarland came in, threw 1 pitch and ended the inning. So Taijuan goes 4 2/3, walked 5, struck out 6, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. 2-1 to Lamb. Nationals have the shift on, 3 balls and a strike.
Pretty sure he's not going to get a changeup down and in. Last time Roark tried that,
he put it in the right field
he
seats.
whacked it out of here.
Now at 104 pitches, Tanner Rowan. Bullpen quiet for Washington.
He's throwing a changeup. Oh,
belted but foul. Oh, that was crushed.
Wow.
This was Jake Lamb to lead off the 4th.
Changeup down and in. He crushed it out over the bullpen in right field. Got another changeup on the 3-1 count right here with just a little out in front.
Home run number 6 for Lamb, our State Farm winning combo. Only 1 third baseman in the game has more RBIs at the position. And then Jake Lamb, now 22 runs batted in to lead the Diamondbacks. Now the Washington bullpen will get busy. They've got a left-hander warming up quickly down there. Lamb skies one along the left field line. Shift is on. The only guy over there is Rendon, and he's got it. Former Diamondback great Oliver Perez will start warming up. Still doing his thing. He still does the whole crazy twists and turns.
See if he's added anything this year.
Yasmani Tomas has struck out, grounded out 0 for 2. He homered off Roark in this ballpark when we were here in September. Homered off him at Chase Field as well earlier last year. Yasmani'd like to have that one back. Roark tough on right-hand hitters. The 2 home runs tonight by the Diamondbacks, both from lefties. Oh, front door curveball, and it's 1-2. Roark's command, at least in terms of the walks, has gotten better. He had walked 7 in his previous 2 starts. He's only walked 1 tonight. He's got 6 strikeouts.
Has gone full count on a lot of Diamondbacks hitters in this game.
Whole bunch. 6 of the first 7 he faced, in fact. Pitch count jumped up through the roof right away for Roark. Take there by Yasmani. Fastball just off the plate. He's worked it full 3-2. Here's another 3-2 count. Second one in the inning. 3rd in a row for Roark. Yasmani Tomas, a 1-out walk. I'll bring up Brandon Drury, who singled and scored his last time up.
Yasmani Tomas was the 11th full count in this game for Tanner Roark. Boy, and a lot of those full counts were followed by a number of foul balls. We'd like to call that the Robbie Ray syndrome.
Robbie Ray starts here tomorrow night.
That plagued him last year quite often. He'd get to 2 strikes on an opposing hitter, and then they'd foul off 7 or 8 pitches, and before you know it, Robbie was out of the ball game because of pitch count.
Slider missed, a ball and no strikes to Brandon Drury. Well, Tanner Roark has very quietly been one of baseball's most effective pitchers for a while now. Since 2013, he's gone 40-25 with a 3.08 ERA. Doesn't get a lot of headlines, he just wins a lot of games. Since 2013, that 3.08 ERA is 10th best in baseball over that span. He's never a guy that you think of immediately. Okay, give me the best pitchers in the National League. Go. You won't hear Tanner Roark, but the numbers are there. Diamondbacks got a Goldie RBI single in the first. Homers by Lamb and Herman in the 4th. Pitch out, nothing doing. pitching out with Yasmani Tomas at first base.
I think perhaps that was anticipation of a possible hit and run more than a straight steal by Yasmani. We used to always try to do that the first game of a series anyway. If you have a count in your favor, 0-2, 1-2, and a potential base stealer on it first, go ahead and pitch out, especially if you've got confidence that your pitcher can get right back in the zone again.
Drury hits it hard but foul down the left field line.
Just to let the other manager and the base stealers on that other team know that, oh, these guys pitch out. Might not do it again the rest of the series, but you show it in the first game as soon as you get a good count in your favor and a potential base stealer on base.
Diamondbacks did run into a strike him out, throw him out to end the first inning when Goldie was caught stealing after an RBI single. But Pollock has a stolen base tonight. Owings has a stolen base. 2-2 on Brandon Drury. Struck him out. 7 strikeouts for Tanner Roark. 2 down in the 6th.
Looked like a changeup from Roark that time. Started mid-thighs, dropped it down to the knees. Drury just out in front.
Big night for Chris Herman. He has singled and homered. The home run is second of the year. A 2-run shot that went into the Diamondback bullpen in left field. Let's make that our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool play of the game. Herman, who was in a 3 for 31 coming into tonight. A single in the second, a home run in the fourth.
Boy, that made that Goldie sound off the bat. Opposite field home run into the Diamondbacks bullpen out there in left center field.
Curveball from Roark. It's 0-2. Bullpen still busy for the Nationals. ...121 pitches for Tanner Roark. And he's not yet through the 6th. Trying to get him inside with that fastball, but missed. It's 1-2. A 33 pitch first inning. Only 4 batters came to the plate. They all had 3-2 counts. Inside with a fastball again, missed again. It's 2-2. Yasmani Tomas, the runner at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it is. Ball in the dirt. Herman's worked at full 3-2. Another 3-2 count in the ball game for Roark. That's the 3rd of this inning.
Tanner Roark has surpassed his career high in pitches in a start. 121 was his previous high.
Maybe he will throw 160, as you said earlier. This will get Tomas started. Zimmerman plays behind the runner along the line at first. 3-2 to Herman. There goes Yasmani. Called strike through. Curveball got him. 8 strikeouts for Roark, who strands the 1-out walk, but the Diamondbacks have a 4-3 lead. 4-3 lead. Hey fans, at D-backs, Clutch Purse is a perfect Mother's Day gift. You can surprise mom with tickets to the D-backs and Pirates game next Sunday, May 14th. First 10,000 moms with us will get to take home a D-backs Clutch Purse, courtesy of PetSmart. Get your Mother's Day tickets now at dbacks.com. Vanessa has signed off on this as a very quality item for the ladies and the moms out there. TJ McFarland, who got the final out of the 5th inning with 1 pitch. Back out there to start the 6th. Michael Taylor, the center fielder, leads it off. He has walked and struck out. First pitch swinging. Well, McFarland's thrown 2 pitches and got 2 outs.
Can't be more efficient than that. Pop up to right field, easy ground ball right at the second baseman.
McFarland will be used to this ballpark. He was released by the Orioles shortly after spring training started, picked up by the Diamondbacks, but he has pitched parts of the last 4 seasons with Baltimore, and they play a home and home series with the Nationals every year. TJ McFarland, a 4th round pick by the Cleveland Indians back in '07 out of Illinois. The catcher, Jose Lobaton, 0 for 2. No Matt Wieters in the lineup for Dusty Baker. Wieters is under the weather. So Lobaton gets the start behind the plate. Just 2 for 23 this year.
Must be a day for high pitch counts. I just checked the Boston-Baltimore game. The Red Sox lead that one 5-2. Chris Sales, 8 innings, struck out 11. He's thrown 115 pitches in that ball game.
I saw David Price was throwing a simulated game today, and I happened to notice. I saw the catcher. I said that's Michael Brenly catching that game.
Yeah, looked good back there.
There was no mention of how David Price looked. They were just all very impressed by the catcher.
Absolutely.
Did you get a scouting report from your advanced scout?
Today I didn't need one. Although he said that silliness with the Orioles needed to come to a halt at some point. You know, with target practice.
After Manny Machado slid hard into Dustin Pedroia the other day. Machado put on an absolute clinic at third base in that game last night and hit one on at the Mass Pike. He made some plays at third base in that game that were amazing. About a half dozen of them.
You know what he didn't get, though? He didn't get the day after every Diamondbacks win the 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com. Manny Machado doesn't get that.
Pitcher spot is up. That's it for Tanner Roark. Here is Rafael Bautista. Only 2 at-bats in his major league career so far. Just called up for the minor leagues. A guy who can really run and is an excellent bunter, so watch out. Lamb even with a bag at third. Bautista's real strength is his speed. Extremely fast. A good base runner. When he gets a bunt down, he's tough to throw out. Really gets up that line. He's been playing at AAA Syracuse this year, hitting .291 in 19 games in the International League. 0-2. Bautista brought up when Adam Eaton was lost for the season with that torn ACL to give them some outfield depth behind Michael Taylor, who we'll see most of the time in center field.
Now, you're right about the speed. 56 stolen bases at Harrisburg last season. He's had seasons of 23, 26, 47, and 69 in the minor leagues.
Yeah, 69 steal season in the Class A Sally League 3 years ago. He spent all of last year with their AA club in Harrisburg and led the Eastern League in hits. He hit .282 that year. That one got Chris Herman on the backswing. Yes, he went. Impressive relief outing from the lefty TJ McFarland, who's retired all 4 he's faced. He keeps it 4-3 D-backs. Diamondbacks lead the Nationals 4-3. Fans Saturday on FS1. The Indians are in Kansas City. They'll take on the Royals. And you can catch all the action of that game for the American League Central on FS1. It starts at noon and streams live on Fox Sports Go. New pitcher for Washington, the guy who started out this season as their closer, the right-hander Blake Trinan. He's got very good stuff. No major league reliever induced more double plays last year than Blake Trinan. He was the closer coming out of camp, but it just did not fit. And those last 3 outs, they are different than any other 3 outs, and he just wasn't the guy for that role. So here's Trinan on to start the 7th.
Yeah, nearly as many walks as strikeouts in his 10 innings of work. He has given up 1 home run. You see that opponent's batting average at .370. We talked about getting into the Nats bullpen. Here we go.
Yeah, they have a young man they like a lot, Coda Glover, who's on the DL right now. Got a couple of saves this year. The veteran Sean Kelly is the closer right now. But Trinan was the guy to start the year, just didn't work. Here's Nick Ahmed, who was 0 for 2. .97 from Blake Trinan. Nick has struck out and lined out. And he's got a base hit. 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and he rolls it into right field, a leadoff single. That's the 7th hit for the Diamondbacks. Daniel Descalso, the walk-off home run hero from Sunday, will hit for TJ McFarland, and there it goes. 0-0 game, and it's in the pool. D-backs beat the Rockies 2-0. And you think that party was something? You should have seen the flight here. It looked about the same. Good for Daniel Descalso. 178 with 2 homers. Descalso has homered twice in his last 4 games. One starting at third base for Jake Lamb, the other Sunday when he started for Yasmani Tomas in left field. He had 3 hits in that game Sunday, including a homer. Slider from Trinan. I think he wanted him to check the baseball for shoe polish or something. In fact, they're going to hold on. Torey Lovullo hand up on top step saying, let's take a look. Hit by pitch is subject to review.
Yeah, they're going to take a look.
Yeah. Descalso immediately said something to Brian O'Nora. Hey, that hit me. Here's a look. Maybe on the back foot. A delayed reaction there. It is in slow motion after all. So Paul Emmel, the crew chief, will come over from first base. Brian O'Nora, the plate umpire, on the left there. And we'll talk to New York. First of three here, D-backs and Nationals. Robbie Ray will face Gio Gonzalez tomorrow afternoon. That's a 4:05 start back home in Arizona. And then a 10:05 of the morning start for the series finale, a getaway day game on Thursday. Braden Shipley will come up from Reno and start that game against Max Scherzer. And good point by Daniel Descalso. He's awarded first base. D-backs win the challenge. So 2 on, no outs. And here comes the top of the order, A.J. Pollock. A.J. singled and scored in the first. He also stole a base. He's 1 for 3. So he's now hit safely in 7 straight. Nick Ahmed at second, Daniel Descalso at first.
Nationals expecting a bunt. Rendon drawn in at third. Zimmerman will charge from first as the pitch is being delivered. I'd be a little surprised if I see a sac bunt, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't want AJ swinging away the way he's hit the ball lately. He's got 11 hits in his last 7 games. In fact, AJ in the middle of last month saw that batting average dip just below 200, and that was a bit of a wake-up call for him. Ever since then, over his previous 13 games, he's hitting better than 440. So you want him swinging away up there, I would imagine. 2 on, no outs.
Of course, the risk is you ground into a double play and snuff out what could have been a big inning, but with AJ's speed, he's tough to double up.
And remember, Trinan induced more double play balls last year than any other reliever in the major league. 17. That's a lot. Sort of Brad Ziegler-esque that way.
And that inside move there to second base is designed not to pick off a runner, not even to shorten up the lead out there at second. It was just to see if AJ would tip anything at home plate. Hand slide up the bat a little bit, maybe start to square around when he sees movement from the pitcher. But AJ didn't show anything that time.
Rendon creeping in from third. Fastball or slider, pardon me, inside. Here's Rendon. He starts out just about even with the bag, and then he'll creep in 2 or 3 steps. Same with Zimmerman at first, just off the bag there. Taylor playing pretty shallow in center. There's a lot of room in center field in this ballpark. Got that notch out there just by the 402 mark. So if Taylor wants to back up on a ball, he's got a long way to go.
A long way to run to get to that little notch out there just to the left of straightaway center. Yeah, with the corners drawn in the way they are and the middle infielders a step or 2 closer to the bag at second, there's all kinds of holes in the infield right now as well.
AJ had 2 balls and no strikes. And again, they'll look Ahmed back to the bag at second. Murphy sneaking in there.
The Diamondbacks have pulled off 6 double steals this year, and I'm sure that's in Dusty Baker's head over there in that first base dugout.
That was Dave. That's what Dave McKay was so upset about, that controversial play Sunday when AJ collided with DJ LeMahieu. He said if it hadn't collided, we had a double steal set to go. They had the pitcher in that spot. Fastball at 94 is strike 1. AJ not thrilled with Brian O'Nora's call. Look to Tony Perez Chica, going through a whole set of signals at third. D-backs have out hit Washington 7-5. They lead at 4-3. that one in on him. It's 2-2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
So what you're saying is, a base hit here, you've got the taco run on second and Nick Ahmed.
Yeah, have to get it in right now before the 5th run scores.
Potential taco situation right here. Two pitch. You can see why Trinan got the closer's job coming out of camp. The stuff is there. A lot of ground balls. Upper 90s fastball. He can sink it. Long set of signs from Jose Lobaton back there. Another 2-2 to A.J. Pollock. Double play ball here. Turner comes in. They'll get one, and that's it. Ahmed in at third.
It's a little too slow developing for the Nationals to have any chance to turn 2 with A.J. running out of that batter's box.
They get one out, but now it's first and third for Chris Owings.
Ended up being a 3-hopper to Trey Turner that time, and as he was getting out of the way of the sliding runner, Murphy, standard procedure, if you don't have the out at first, immediately look to the runner at third to see if he took a big turn.
Well, you lead it 4-3, but this team is so dangerous offensively. You really want to tack on some insurance runs when you can. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, on the right here. Dusty Baker, the skipper, on the left. Chris Owings 0 for 2. He walked and stole a base in the third. Base hit. Rolls one into right. Ahmed scores, and it's 5-3. There's your taco run.
Just reached out and poked that ball into right field. Infield drawn in. Got a slider away, hit it off the end of the bat, but he was trying to go that way and gets it past Murphy into right field for a base hit. Now watch for the double steal.
5-3 Diamondbacks. Still only one out. That's tacos. And you got some real speed on the bases in Pollock and Owings. They each already have a stolen base tonight. Goldie an RBI single. He's 1 for 3.
One thing you have to watch for if you're A.J. Pollock out there at second base is if the Nationals split those middle infielders wide apart, almost tempting you to try to steal third base, and then the pitcher does an inside move to second. That's one way you can slow down base stealers at second base. I mean, you can move one of your defenders over there to try to hold him close to the bag, but one of the easiest ways to split the defenders, tempt him into taking an extra step or two, and then use the inside move at second base.
Well, with A.J. on second, Zimmerman at first is playing behind the runner Owings, and C.O.'s getting a huge lead off the bag down there. Goldie ahead 2-0. Watch Chris creep up right in front of Zimmerman, the first baseman. Take a big secondary lead. A.J. staying close to that second base bag, trying to have eyes in the back of his head. Murphy sneaking in from second. That's a fair ball to Rendon. They get one, and they turn it. A 5-4-3 ends the inning, but the Diamondbacks tack on an insurance run. Joey Lovello saying, hold on, they're going to have a look. D-back skipper on the top step of the dugout. There he is. You got 30 seconds to make up your mind. Jerry Naron on the phone with video coordinator Alan Campbell. a look while we're waiting.
Rendon unloaded quickly after backing up on that ground ball.
Close. They've already won one challenge on the Descalso hit by pitch, and they're going to try it here. Now, we don't know for sure that they're challenging the call at first, because we don't get definitive word on exactly what aspect of the play they're looking at. Foot for Murphy appeared to be on the bag, awfully close at first here. We're assuming this is it. Yeah, he's in there. Yeah. Remember, it's a catch when the ball is in the back of the mitt. And if that's the case, then it looks like from that angle, Goldie beat it out.
And how many times have I pointed this out? If the base runner would just hit the front part of the bag with his toe. Watch Goldie come down with his left toe right on the front edge of that bag, right there.
And you know, that's how Adam Eaton blew out his knee landing on top of the base.
Yep.
They are challenging the call at first, by the way. We do have confirmation on that.
Yeah, that's obviously the quickest way to get to the base. So many times, and as you can clearly see from that replay, had he landed with his heel on the middle of the base, he's probably out and would be called out on challenge. But because he hit the bag with his toe, the very front edge of the base, that's as quickly as you can get there.
Well, if they can get the call overturned, they'll have Pollock at third, Goldie at first, and 2 outs for Jake Lamb, who homered in the 4th inning. And so the Diamondbacks, if they can get another RBI opportunity, that's why you're challenging this one. And they're taking a long look in New York. Ideally, they want to keep these reviews under 2 minutes for the folks in New York. It's not a hard out, but that's what they're shooting for.
And unlike a lot of ballparks that we travel to and Chase Field, they're not showing the replays on the big board here.
Yeah, they just have a big sign that says the play is under review. Here we go. Well, they didn't see what we saw in New York. Ball stands. Bottom 7 coming up. Diamondbacks have a 5-3 lead. Nationals maybe leading the league in love, or at least neck massages, as we start the home half of the 7th inning. D-backs lead at 5-3. Students take advantage of the D-backs student pass all season. Get ticket discounts and specials sent right to your mobile phone. All you have to do is text student to 76925. That's student to 76925, or log on to dbacks.com/student. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, answering the Ashline call to the bullpen, got 2 big strikeouts in the 7th inning against the Rockies on Sunday. What an addition he's been. It's the right-hander J.J. Hoover, a 1.86 ERA, his 13th appearance of the year. But he gets the top of this Nationals order. Turner, Worth, and Harper 1, 2, and 3. Trey Turner has doubled, walks, scored a run, and stolen a base tonight. Still some stirring in the D-backs bullpen, but no one warming up down there. In the air to center field, A.J. Pollock. Well, Yasmani Tomas, Bob, lately has done a really good job backing up. By the time A.J. caught that ball, Tomas was almost directly behind him at dead center field. He's done a really good job of getting over there lately.
That's one of those things that goes unnoticed until somebody drops a ball in the outfield and there's nobody there to back it up. I mean, you have nothing else to do on that play. If you're one of the corner outfitters, you might as well run over there in case AJ loses it at the last instant or slips and falls down. At least be in the vicinity to retrieve the ball and limit the damage as much as you can.
Jason Worth 0 for 2 with a walk. Yeah, we saw Yasmani on a ball that caromed off the center field wall at Chase the other day. Right behind Pollock. Pick it up and throw in the relay. Remember, it was years ago, 7 years ago, in fact, Jason Worth got that massive free agent contract, 7 years, $126 million. Following the 2010 season, he left the Phillies. Everybody at the time was screaming, that's the biggest overpay we've ever seen. Of course, the Nationals at that time were just terrible, and the deal was a big overpay because it was something the organization felt they needed to do to sort of turn this into a more attractive destination for free agents like Jason Worth. So they paid him big bucks, and it's worked sometimes along the way. He's been hurt a lot, but now that the deal is up, or almost up, the Nationals are the team that they aspired to be back when they gave Worth all that money. He strikes out.
I think it really surprised the baseball world because Jason Worth, a very good player, don't get me wrong, but not the star caliber player that you expect to get that kind of free agent contract. And I think that's why people were a little puzzled. He had always been a nice complementary player on a team with stars, but now he was being asked to be the star of the organization.
Played on some very good Phillies teams, including their 2008 World Series team, and then cashed in big time. And that deal, which seems so long ago, is in its final season. Bryce Harper, an RBI single, a walk, he scored a run. Fastball 1-1. By the way, we're being told that on that Goldie play at first, the replay official could not definitively determine that Goldie's foot touched the first base bag prior to the ball contacting the interior of the fielder's glove, so the call stands. Which is,
yeah. Well, we need to point out once again that the umpires that are in the command center back in New York are the same umpires that work on the field every other day.
We had an angle that was fairly definitive, if there is such a thing. I think it's a pretty good look anyway. 2-1 on Harper. Diamondbacks have the shift on. Fastball in, missed. It's 3 balls in the strike. You've got the dangerous Ryan Zimmerman on deck. As you look at the defensive alignment, Lamb the third baseman in the shortstop spot. Zimmerman doubled and scored in the third. Harper's on base percentage coming into the game tonight, .509. Number 1 in the majors, so he gets on base more than half the time he's up there. Already been on base twice tonight. Full count, 3-2. Harper. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as you might expect, J.J. Hoover, spending most of his career in Cincinnati in a different division than the Nationals, hasn't seen a lot of these Nationals hitters. The most at bats by any National hitter against J.J. Hoover is JAYSON WERTH. Had 3 coming into tonight and struck out for the 2nd out of this 7th inning. So they haven't seen a lot of J.J.
Trying to slider. Harper very disciplined. Lays off. So the Nationals get the tying run at the plate with 2 down. It's Zimmerman, who has hit into a double play, doubled and struck out.
All the crazy offensive numbers for Bryce Harper this season. That was his 24th walk. He struck out 20 times.
That's how you get a 500 on base percentage. Those guys are neck and neck, by the way, in walks atop the major league list, Harper and Goldie. Zimmerman hits the first pitch into right field. Harper holds at second. 2 on and 2 out now for Daniel Murphy. Ryan Zimmerman just will not stop hitting.
Just such a smart hitter at this stage of his career, now that he's as close to being healthy as he'll ever be for the remainder of his career. But he had a big hole on the right side of the field. Goldie holding on Bryce Harper over there at first base, just looking for something out over the plate that he could guide through that hole on the right side, take that base hit, turn it over to Daniel Murphy.
Well, as analytic people will tell you, the last 3 outs are difficult, yes, but they're not always the most important outs. When you're talking about your bullpen and relievers, this is going to be one of those critical outs. One of the best hitters in baseball up there, Daniel Murphy, a 2-run single, a walk his last time up. He backs up 2 on and 2 out. There's a strike. Murphy has been on one of his hitting tears lately. Last 10 games, including tonight, he's got 16 hits and 18 RBIs. Changeup got away from JJ. It's 1-1. Right-hand pitchers really have a tough time with Murphy. He hammers fastballs inside. He can pull anything in there. Off-speed pitches down and away is where he makes most of his outs. That's where most teams try and work Murphy, but there are no guarantees with him because he covers the whole plate as well as anybody in a game.
Well, you mentioned it earlier how he stands so close to that inside edge of the plate right there. That means that pitches on the outside corner are basically right down the middle to him because he stands so close.
1-1. Went to the fastball.
Yeah, beat him with a 92-mile-an-hour heater that time.
He's also, as we talked about earlier in the game, just about the best 2-strike hitter in baseball. So even when you're ahead in the count like Hoover is here, no guarantees. Make those feet move. A slider. It's 2-2. Kind of situation where Murphy oftentimes will look to go the other way against a righty. Rendon is on deck. There's a lot of room in left center field right now. Yanked that one foul. Got a slider.
That was a slider working its way off that inside corner. There's no way Murphy could keep that ball fair, so just hit it foul hard. A little concern for the fans in the stands there. Murphy gathering himself after hitting that rocket up into the first base bleachers. Looks like everybody's okay.
How Murphy keeps his hands in close to his body. Tied him up inside, went back to the slider and got him. 3 big outs for J.J. Hoover, who strands 2 and keeps it 5-3.
Danger, danger, danger in that bottom half of the seventh with 2 runners on and Daniel Murphy at the plate. See that 077 down and in? That's right where J.J. Hoover put that last slider. Murphy could not hold up, swings right over the top of it. 3 consecutive sliders that time. Murphy laid off one, he fouled one off, and then swung and missed at the last one. Nice job, Hoover.
Yeah, he's so good with 2 strikes. He'll get more aggressive than most guys will when they're in 2 strike counts, and that time they used that against Murphy. Blake Trinan back out there to start the 8th inning as Jake Lamb leads it off. Lamb lit off the 4th with a home run, his 6th of the year. Hit it into the right field seats. Nationals have the shift on. Slider fouled off. It's 0-1. Here's a look at the defensive alignment. Turner, the shortstop, near the second base bag, and Murphy, the second baseman, slides over. Fastball, swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Overtone hangs on to the foul tip. No one throwing in the Washington bullpen for the moment. Diamondback bullpen is busy. Looks like Jorge De La Rosa warming up down there. Another fastball, and Lamb strikes out. First strikeout for Blake Trinan. Second time tonight Jake has struck out. Here's Yasmani Tomas, who has walked. He's 0 for 2. Washington will have their 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up in the home half. Rendon, Taylor, and Lobaton. Very good night for the Diamondback bullpen so far. T.J. McFarland came on and retired all 4 he faced. Hoover got 2 strikeouts and stranded 2 in the 7th. Roller to shortstop for Trey Turner. 2 outs. Diamondbacks led it 1-0 after the top of the first. There is Jorge De La Rosa. Pollock led off with a single, stole second, came home with a Goldie RBI single. Nationals got it back in the home half of the first on a Bryce Harper RBI single. And then Washington took a 3-1 lead in the 3rd. Harper walked, Zimmerman doubled, Murphy singled them both home. But then the Diamondbacks got a 3-run 4th. Home runs by Lamb and Herman. Tacked on 1 in the 7th. The RBI single by Owings. Here's Drury, who singled and scored in the 4th. He's 1 for 3.
You can see why the Nationals wanted Trinan to work out as their closer. His stuff is absolutely filthy.
Oh yeah.
He throws high 90s with sinking tailing action.
He blew a whole bunch of saves early. That one got away from him. Unfortunately, Brandon able to duck out of the way. Right out of the gate, Trinan was imploding in the 9th inning of games.
Just overthrows this slider. Never took the break at all. Sailed over the head of Brandon Drury.
Right now they're sort of mixing up Coda Glover and Sean Kelly closing games. Kelly gets most of the opportunities, especially now with Glover on the DL. There's a hard fastball from Trinan at 97. Gas it up there, that's for sure.
Always amazes me how a guy can throw 96, 97, 98 and still get movement on that pitch. It just seems like it wouldn't have enough time to sink or tail, but Trinan gets all kinds of movement on that fastball in the upper 90s.
Throws that pitch and is still considered a ground ball pitch to contact guy, which is kind of scary. Brandon Drury knocks it the other way, his 2nd hit tonight. Brandon has now hit safely in 7 straight games, 10 of his last 11, and has had 2 hits in each of his last 3 games.
Stayed inside that sinker, inside part of the plate, got the barrel on it to right field.
Boy, everything about the way this young man is wired just screams hitter. Herman's been a hitter tonight, a single and a home run. Hit one into the Diamondbacks bullpen in the 4th, a 2-run homer. His 2nd this year. Nationals shift again. Turner, the shortstop, behind the second base bag, and Murphy on the outfield grass. You see where Taylor is in center field, a step or 2 over toward left center. This outfield is funny. We talked about how deep center field can be with that notch out there. There's nooks and crannies in both corners as well, especially in right field. Well, the Nationals bullpen is there. There's that W.B. Mason sign that kind of kicks in and grooves. There's extra room in there. It's a bunch of little notches and nooks and crannies along the outfield wall.
And that out-of-town scoreboard you see there in right center, like a lot of them, has chain link fence. It has padded areas. It have areas where the ball will really bounce back toward the infield. Tell you one thing, not that I'm a pitching coach or anything, but we've talked about Treinen and all the movement he gets on that fastball. I think Lobaton would do him a big favor if he just set up down the middle of the plate. Lobaton really shifting on the corners, and rarely does Treinen hit his spot. So you might as well just set up down the middle, try to throw a strike in the middle of the plate, and let the ball go. Let it move.
The old Rick Russell treatment.
Yeah, don't get too tricky. The ball's moving plenty on its own. Don't try to be so fine with it and hit the corners. Aim it right down the middle and let it do what it does.
Looking into the Nationals dugout for the sign, Jose Lobaton.
Should be a slider.
A 2-2 to Chris Herman. Slider kept that feet moving. Full count, 3-2. Nick Ahmed on deck. This will get Brandon Drury started from first. Zimmerman now backs up, plays behind the runner. Nick singled and scored his last time up. The 3-2 to Chris Herman. There goes Drury. Ball 4. Chris Herman aboard for the 3rd time tonight. Here's Nick, who's 1 for 3. Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. Bullpen for the moment still quiet for the Nationals. Treinen in his 2nd inning of work now, 30 pitches, 18 strikes.
See that jungle gym out there in the Washington Nationals bullpen. That's a piece of equipment that they use to stretch their arms. They stand inside there and grab a hold of various bars and stretch their shoulders out.
Used to call those monkey bars when I was a kid.
Monkey bars, yeah.
Little Timmy fell off the monkey bars again.
Of course, now it probably has some technical medical name and costs a lot more than the monkey bars used to.
Drury is the runner at second. Herman at first. 2 outs. Here's Nick Ahmed, 1 for 3. That's in the seats that out of play. D-backs have out-hit Washington 9-6. They lead at 5-3. Pitcher spot is up next, and J.J. Hoover has a bat and is standing in the on-deck circle. No one throwing the Diamondback bullpen. got the right-hand hitter Rendon due to lead off the bottom half of this inning. Ahmed hits one in the air to left field. It'll back up JAYSON WERTH just a bit. And Trinan strands 2. Bottom 8 on the way. D-backs have a 5-3 lead. Diamondbacks have a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Home runs in the 4th after the D-backs were down 3-1 by Lamb and Herman. And on from the bullpen to answer the Ashline call to the bullpen is the left-hander Jorge De La Rosa, who has been outstanding so far. It's been a very good night for the bullpen to this point. TJ McFarland and JJ Hoover have worked 2 1/3 scoreless. Now De La Rosa makes his 13th appearance of the year. Defensive change behind him. Jeremy Hazelbaker is in left field, replacing Yasmani Tomas. Pitcher spot is due to lead off the top of the 9th for the Diamondbacks, so guessing that this is a double switch with Hazelbaker hitting 9th.
Yeah, it could possibly be a straight up. If you just want 1 inning out of De La Rosa in this situation and you're going to turn the ball over to somebody else in the 9th inning, then you can pick your pinch hitter for that pitcher spot leading off in the 9th. But chances are it's a double switch, and Hazelbaker will be in the 9 spot. Haven't heard specifically yet. Yes, they put it on the board now. Hazelbaker is batting 9th.
Put it on the board. Anthony Rendon. Couldn't resist. Rendon doubled in the 2nd. He's 1 for 3. Talking to some of the Nationals guys. FP Santangelo, Bob Carpenter doing a Nats TV just to our left here. And I told them, look, Jorge De La Rosa's throwing 95, 96, and frankly, they still don't believe me. They said, no. Yeah, he's been really good. Because De La Rosa, for all those years in Colorado, you know, 91-ish, 2-seamer, changeup, 2-seamer, changeup. But now in this role, he's got that mid-90s fastball, and he's not afraid to use it. Splitter missed. 2 balls and 1 strike on Anthony Rendon. Rendon here Sunday against the Mets, 6 for 6. He hit 3 home runs and drove in 10. First time in a decade a major league player has knocked in 10 runs in 1 game. 2-2. Joe Blanton, the veteran right-hander, started warming up in the Nationals bullpen. That was a cutter that came in, and that cutter from the left-hander is moving in and almost chasing Rendon, moving into the right-hand hitter.
Yeah, this one gets over everybody, over the glove of Chris Herman, over the head of Brian Honora, hit the bricks behind home plate. That ball ended up out at third base with Jake Lamb.
Boy. I understand they've had more issues between the Orioles and Red Sox tonight. Chris Sale throwing behind Manny Machado. Here's that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but De La Rosa missed with it. And Rendon walks to lead off the eighth for the Nationals to get the tying run to the plate. No outs. It's Michael Taylor, the center fielder. Taylor walked in the second. He's 0 for 2. He will get the first crack at winning the center field job now that Adam Eaton is out for the year with that torn ACL in his knee. First pitch is fouled off. Rendon, not much of a runner. He does not have a stolen base attempt this year. Couple of native Texans there. Actually, they're both from the Houston area. Rendon is from Houston, played at Rice. There's another mid-90s fastball, but again he missed. It's 1-1.
Stop.
Bounced a splitter. Chris Herman behind the plate.
Way out in front of home plate, he bounced a splitter that time. No way of telling where that ball's going to go. Chris Herman does a great job of shifting over there and just keeping it close.
Well, it seems like, Bob, so much of that is how you direct or angle your shoulders.
Absolutely. You know, a ball to your left, for example, if you just open up to that side and turn your shoulder toward the dugout on the third base side, the ball hits your chest protector, it's going to go over there. You have to always try to square your shoulders back to the mound, or in some cases even over square it so you're blocking it back toward home plate.
Nobody liking what they're seeing from Jorge De La Rosa. He's not been able to throw that fastball for a strike. Here's Mike Butcher. He's walked Rendon to lead off the inning, now behind on Taylor, who is not a very good hitter. He's behind on him 3-1. And he is the tying run at the plate with no outs. De La Rosa was outstanding Sunday against Colorado. He pitched the 8th inning and struck out all 3 batters he faced. Struck out the side on 11 pitches. Base hit for Taylor. Now the tying runs are aboard.
It makes all the difference in the world when you have the count in your favor. Even a struggling hitter like Michael Taylor can start that swing a little early and catch up to a 95-mile-an-hour heater, banging through that left side for a base hit.
You've got the catcher Jose Lobaton up now. Looks like Chris Heisey, the veteran outfielder, is in the on-deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher.
Now, in the past, Dusty Baker would have bunted in this situation. I'm not sure if Dusty's attitudes have changed with all the new sabermetric numbers and the percentages and all that good stuff, but Dusty was a guy that would give up an out to move those 2 runners into scoring position in a 2-run game.
Lobaton tonight is 0 for 3. He's 2 for 24 at the plate for the season. De La Rosa just not comfortable out there tonight. We've yet to see him like this year. He has been outstanding. But so far 11 pitches, only 4 of them strikes. Rendon at second. Taylor the tying run at first. Lobaton squares, pulls back and takes ball one. I don't think De La Rosa has thrown a fastball for a strike yet. He wanted that when you can see him shouting at Brian O'Nora.
Oh my!
Boy, that's a miss. Seen a couple of those tonight. Goldie in on the grass halfway from first. Lobaton squares, fouls it off. Taijuan Walker had a few of those no called strikes when he was out there. Taijuan really labored tonight. Couldn't quite finish off the fifth inning. Here comes Goldie from first. Lobaton squares again. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And Lobaton most likely will be attempting to bunt that ball to third base, try to keep it away from Goldie, who's really charging aggressively from first. You see Jake Lamb will angle himself over there at third base and read the bunt. A little bit easier with the left-handed pitcher on the mound, because De La Rosa, if he fields the ball on the left side of the infield, could make an easy throw to third base if that's where the play is.
Squares on the 2-1, gets the bunt down. Goldie bare hands to third, and they get the force, and they can't quite turn the double play. It was right there for Drury, but he dropped the ball. That was brilliantly executed by the Diamondbacks, but Brandon couldn't hang on, covering the first base bag.
Boy, that is too bad. That's exactly the way you draw it up. If you're going to charge aggressively like Goldie does, get the lead man and then look back to first base. They would have had Lobaton over there had Drury been able to hang on to the ball. Goldie with the bare-handed play.
You can see the reaction.
Yep.
Drury immediately went over to the mound and said, "My bad." No error. You can't assume the double play. Chris Heisey hits for the pitcher.
Another nice stop.
Chris Heisey is second season with Washington. He's had only 22 at bats all year. He has gone 0 for 7 as a pinch hitter, adding 182 with 1 home run. Swings and misses at that split changeup. It's 1-1. Chris Heisey's been his first 5 big league seasons with Cincinnati, where he played for Dusty Baker and the Reds. Played briefly with the Dodgers 2 years ago. Spent last year in Washington, reunited with Dusty. Back to the splitter, swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
I see that happen quite often, where a manager's had a player somewhere else. He's a known quantity, and that's what you're looking for on your new ball club. Dusty Baker bringing Chris Heisey over here to the Nationals. We saw Bud Black with Alexi Amarista in Colorado, brought him from San Diego.
There's trust there.
Yeah, when you're looking to fill out those last couple of roster spots, and hey, we're looking for a Chris Heisey type. Well, why don't we just get Chris Heisey?
He's available. Last year, Heisey hit .216 with 9 home runs here in Washington. De La Rosa still has, I don't think he's thrown that fastball for a strike yet. It's 2-2. Upped it up to 96. There's your strike and your strikeout. 2 down.
Elevated fastball up and out over the plate. Probably not in the strike zone, but too tempting for Heisey to take.
Well, this is the out to get here. The leadoff man, Trey Turner. Goldie checks in. Now Herman checks in. Here comes Ahmed to the mound. Turner today doubled and scored in the first. He walked and stole a base in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. One more out to get for Jorge De La Rosa. Rodney will close tonight, we are told. Joey Lovello sticking with Fernando Rodney, who became a U.S. citizen yesterday. Bullpen quiet right now for the D-backs. There is the new American citizen. In the air, right field. Chris Owings drifting near the line. And he's got it. Jorge De La Rosa strands 2. He keeps it a 5-3 ball game. Judge, the Yankees' big power hitting rookie, hits one into the restaurant in center field at Yankee Stadium. And not only that, he broke the TV. And then he got up there in the game, and guess what? Correct. Boy, this big guy is putting on an absolute show his first month this year in the Bronx. That home run is gone against the Blue Jays, his 12th of the year.
Hit number 11 earlier in the ball game. That is a beast.
He's about 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge on to work the 9th inning for Dusty Baker, the veteran right-hander. It's Joe Blanton. And as you can see by that ERA, it's not gone very well. He was really good with the Dodgers last year, Blanton. Now in his 12th major league season, it seemed his career was reborn as a reliever. Last year with the Dodgers, 7-2, a 2.48 ERA, but a lot bumpy ride here. Bumpier ride with the Nats.
The number that jumps out: 4 home runs in 10 innings pitched out of the Nats bullpen this year.
Well, Jeremy Hazelbaker will indeed lead off the top of the 9th inning, and then it's A.J. Pollock and Chris Owings, 9-1-2 in the Arizona 9th. And the D-backs lead at 5-3, and Fernando Rodney has started warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Nationals will have Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman 2, 3, and 4 in the 9th, with Murphy hitting 4th. Jeremy he's not pinch hitting. 3 for 7 as a pinch hitter. He's played the last half inning in the outfield. 292 on the year with 4 homers. Got the start in center field Sunday, went 0 for 3 with a walk. So this will be a big test for Fernando Rodney, who has blown his last 2 save attempts, 2 last week. 1 against the Padres and then Saturday against the Rockies. A chance for redemption here, but he'll face the heart of the Nationals order in the 9th. That's on a play. Torlovello was talking about Jeremy Hazelbaker before the game today. He had known Hazelbaker from their days in Boston. Jeremy was in the Red Sox system for a while. In fact, he was a 4th round pick by Boston back in '09. And Torrey is one of the reasons Hazelbaker is here. Loves the work ethic, loves the preparation, knows his role, knows the pitcher that he's going to face or may face. Puts in all the work that you need to do when you're a part-time player.
When you're a part-time player, you don't necessarily study opposing starting pitchers unless you're starting that day. You study the bullpen, the guys that you might face late in a ball game. Try to get any edge you can.
That's a foul ball. Loves the professional approach of Jeremy Hazelbaker. Very hard worker. Torrey said, I have an attachment to that guy. Of course, the Diamondbacks signed Gregor Blanco, the former Giant, in the offseason. He was injured late in spring training. Blanco is rehabbing in the minor leagues right now. So there may be a decision to make down the road at some point. But so far, so good for Hazelbaker. Here's the 3-2 from Blanton. Drives it to center. It'll back up Taylor. It's still carrying, and it's gone! Jeremy Hazelbaker. There it goes. An insurance run for the Diamondbacks, and they take a 6-3 lead. He takes a 3-2 pitch out of here to straightaway center field.
Boy, and for me, there has always been a little bit of a wind tunnel out there to straightaway center field. Coming in here over the years with the Chicago Cubs, I saw a lot of home runs hit to that area of the ballpark that just seemed to carry forever. Hazelbaker barrels that one up to straightaway center, and you mentioned Taylor plays a very shallow center field. Had to turn around on a dead sprint to the wall that time to no avail. That one's out of here.
And as you mentioned, that's been the big problem with Blanton this year. The long ball gives up another one. Here's Pollock. A big insurance run for the Diamondbacks. Jeremy Hazelbaker, his first home run this year. A jumbo jack. Free jumbo jack tomorrow with our purchase of a large drink from Jack in the Box. My wife Cindy actually just took advantage of that today.
Good.
Yeah, she said cashed in a jumbo jack at the participating Jack in the Box. We have one near where we live. And she said, hey, Daniel Descalso, I want my jumbo jack. Taylor in right center. One away. That was the 10th hit for the D-backs, 7 for the Nationals. Owings has an RBI single, a walk and a stolen base. He's 1 for 3 today. Playing right field, David Peralta not in the starting lineup for Torlovello. David's under the weather today. And they haven't needed him here tonight, thank goodness. 6-3 in the 9th. Dodgers and Giants just getting underway in LA. There's no score there. Giants got to Clayton Kershaw. I was watching that game in the hotel last night. Kershaw gave up a couple of home runs.
I had good intentions to watch that game last night.
What happened?
Fell asleep.
Well, he had a big day. Blanton strikes out Owens 2 down. Here's Goldie. Goldie had an RBI single that made it 1-0 in the top of the first. He's 1 for 4. Yeah, that was Cueto Kershaw last night in LA. Rockies are at San Diego starting a 3-game series tonight. They're scoreless at Petco Park. Just underway in the second inning. Trevor Cahill on the mound for San Diego against Tyler Chatwood. Matt Moore pitching for the Giants in LA tonight. One and one on Goldie. Last 11 games, including tonight, he's knocked in 14 runs. His RBI single number 20 on the year this season in the first inning. Spits on a fastball. It's 2-1. A lot of the crowd has started filing out here at Nats Park.
Emergency swing. Too close to take, not good enough to really drive anywhere. Just flip the bat out there, try to get a piece of it.
Overtone can't hang on. Nationals 17-8. They're already 4.5 games up in the NL East. They've been rolling lately, but Diamondbacks about hit them tonight 10-7. They lead at 6-3. Staying alive. A lot of fastballs here from Blanton.
And good pitches too. That's the thing. You can see that Blanton's getting frustrated out there. He's making quality pitchers pitches, and Goldie's just wasting them, fouling them off, giving Blanton an opportunity to hang one.
Pitchers love that. Then he checks on a close one. Doesn't go, says Paul Emmel. He's worked at full 3-2. That was a slider that time.
Yep. And right where he wanted to throw it. Started on the outside corner, make it look like a strike, and then dip it off that outside corner below the knees. Goldie able to check that time. Another slider upcoming.
3-2 pitch. He worked a walk. Goldie aboard for the second time tonight. That'll give Jake Lamb a chance.
I mean, that's especially frustrating for a pitcher when you execute the pitches that you want to throw, and the hitter either doesn't swing at him or fouls him off. Just stay alive in the at-bat and then ultimately take ball 4, head on down to first base.
Jake Lamb has struck out twice tonight. He homered in the 4th, his 6th of the year. 3 Diamondback home runs tonight. Lamb, Herman, and Hazelbaker. 3 lefties. Goldie takes off for second and rolls away from Lobaton. Now a single can tack on another run. Long inning now for Joe Blanton. He scored that a passed ball charged to Lobaton. And there is the no pitch intentional walk. Chris Iannetta will get a chance now. Pitcher spot is 5th in the Diamondback order after the double switch with Hazelbaker. So here's Iannetta. It's a hit for De La Rosa. First batting .209 with 2 homers.
1 for 2 lifetime against Joe Blanton with a homer.
Chris has hit the ball hard lately, but 1 for 17 up there following a 6-game hitting streak. He's got Goldie at second and Lamb at first. There go the runners. And they're in there standing up. Now a single scores 2. Two stolen bases. It's number 8 for Goldie and number 3 for Lamb. There's a strike, 1-1. That means more throwovers to first with Jake Lamb. There's a little tapper, rolls fair. And Blanton is there to tag Iannetta out. So it's a 6-3 ball game as we head to the home half of the 9th inning. And Fernando Rodney, who has blown his last 2 save attempts, is coming in with a 3-run lead back from Washington, D.C. after this. In the nation's capital, our ash line call to the bullpen. The Diamondbacks so far have outslugged the hottest slugging team in baseball. Now they just need 3 more outs from their embattled closer, Fernando Rodney. It was a rough week for Rodney last week. Wednesday against the Padres, he came on in the 9th inning with a 5-3 lead. And San Diego had a 5-run 9th. Rodney ended up with his first loss this year. And then Saturday against Colorado, it got away from him in the 9th inning. The Rockies came back to win it 7-6. So 6 for 8 in his save attempts. He's got a 3-run lead, but he'll work to the meat of this Nationals order. The Washington heads of state, as it were, Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman, 2, 3, and 4. Rodney, who just became a U.S. citizen, looking to close out a 6-3 D-backs lead.
Fernando Rodney has never blown a save as a U.S. citizen.
Your staff is on top of the game. Worth walked in the first. He's 0 for 3. He struck out twice. Well, it's somewhat appropriate that his first appearance as a U.S. citizen is here in the nation's capital.
I like it when a plan comes together.
Wow, way out ahead of that changeup at 0-2. And Bob, as you've mentioned, the stuff has been there with Rodney. He still throws 97, 98. He still has the wicked split changeup. It's just that the command has been the issue, especially the last time out against Colorado. Just really had trouble throwing anything for a strike.
And consequently was behind in a lot of counts. And then when you do throw a strike, we've talked about it many times, you're going to get a much more aggressive swing from that hitter at the plate when the count's in his favor. And I think Rodney maybe got away from his changeup a little bit too much. That's his bread and butter pitch. That's his out pitch.
A lot of fastballs.
Yeah, I mean, he still throws 96, 97, but the changeup is the pitch that's going to get the weak contact and the swings and misses.
2-2 on Jason Worth. Didn't get the call from Brian O'Nora. The count is full, 3-2 with Bryce Harper on deck.
Oh, not again. Yes, again.
Oh boy, it's been like that all night long. Missing a lot of low strikes. That was as good a pitch to Worth as you can throw. That one knocks Brian O'Nora backwards. Checking that mask. Ooh, got him in the hand too, or the leg.
Diamondbacks fans may recognize former D-backs head trainer Paul Lassard, now working for the Nationals, out there checking on the home plate umpire.
Was in Boston for a while too.
Yeah, we used to joke with Paul that he got the World Series ring in Arizona with an A. He went to Boston to get the B. Went to Cincinnati with Dusty Baker to get the C. That didn't work out quite so well.
And now he's in D.C.
There you go.
3-2. Got him. Went to the changeup. One down.
I mean, Fernando Rodney's fastball is live. We talked about it in the upper 90s, but hitters in the big leagues can hit an upper 90s fastball. That changeup is wicked.
Well, the Diamondbacks have now extended their National League record, the only team in National League history with now 8 consecutive games having recorded at least 11 strikeouts. That ties the Indians' all-time Major League record set in 2014. Bryce Harper. He has an RBI single. He's scored a run. He's walked twice. Ball one. 96 from Rodney missed. Harper homered here Sunday. His 9th of the year. He's hitting .394. Clubs one. Right field corner. Foul.
Strike one. Saw Harper with his right hand there, kind of making that motion, reminding himself stay inside the baseball. Got a little jumpy that time, got out in front, hooked that ball foul down the right field line.
Ahmed, the shortstop, is near the right field line on the outfield grass. Drury behind the second base bag, also deep on the grass. Big aggressive swing by Harper, and it's 1-2. Lamb all by himself on the left-hand side, now about where the shortstop would be. Todd Walsh, Diamondback Live postgame show follows our ball game. Reaction from inside the clubhouse. Fastball up, 2-2. Reaches out and taps at that changeup. Dusty Baker calls Bryce Harper's at bats beautiful because he calls them determination at bats. And for Dusty, that's what hitting is all about. It's a battle, it's a fight, he says. Harper, when he's up there, fights. And you get that sense in watching it. The battle is on for Fernando Rodney. It's 2-2. 7 in, full count. Very few places to pitch this guy. Low and away. That's about it. That's one in the air, center field, drifting over toward right center. AJ has it, 2 down. Ryan Zimmerman, fittingly it ends with the reigning National League Player of the Week. Zimmerman has singled and doubled, scored a run tonight.
Not sure what Harper did after he swung at that ball. He hit it in the air to center field, but really didn't run down the first baseline. Yeah, he flipped the bat right there and it stuck to his glove. Very nearly hit Chris Herman. He's apologizing all the way down the first baseline. Never made it to first.
Take one more of those. Bullpen quiet right now for the Diamondbacks. Two and 0. Zimmerman has homered 6 times in his last 8 games. Leading the majors in hits and RBIs. Two and 2. Fernando Rodney is strike away. Diamondbacks, after that difficult stretch to start the year, 24 of their first 27 against the NL West. They won 16 of those 27 games. And looking to win the first of 3 here in Washington. Zimmerman off the plate. He's gone 3 and 2 at all 3 batters he's faced so far. Daniel Murphy would be next. Rolled over to shortstop. Nick Ahmed has it. Fernando Rodney, the U.S. citizen, has the save. And there goes the arrow toward the Capitol Dome. He closes out a 6-3 Diamondbacks win.
What a big victory to start this road trip. High-powered Nationals offense kind of held at bay tonight. And don't forget the job that Taijuan Walker did. Now, he only went 4 2/3, which is a lot less than they were hoping to get out of him. But he didn't have good stuff. He wasn't getting any calls behind home plate. Still able to pitch into the 5th inning effectively and hold down this Nationals offense.
Torey Lovullo stands by his man, Fernando Rodney, who worked a 1-2-3 9th inning against some of the best hitters in baseball and locked down the save. Diamondbacks take the opener.